repurposed freighter drifts through space.
Hey, Cold
As you stare
Warrior.
out at the star-flecked void, another ship comes in.
We're getting rocking and rolling
is this
here.
sci-fi? I thought we agreed on a World War II campaign. Oh. Did we? That's cool. I can pivot. The smell of smoke curdles in your nostrils. Hold up. I thought we were prepping for a zombie apocalypse campaign. All right, here's what we're doing. It's the year 3700. Humanity's elite fled to other planets long ago, taking with them all forms of advanced technology. Earth survivors scrape by with historic tools as weird phenomena plague abandoned nuclear sites.
Hello?
Witnesses report seeing glowing lights and the dead rising from their graves. And amidst the chaos, 3 strangers will meet in a den bar.
Jeff
A veteran
tonight.
zombie
I don't
slayer,
think
a
Tim's
disgraced
coming.
general out for revenge, and a space mercenary sent to investigate the power plants. Now
Maybe,
describe your characters.
I think so.
How did you
Some
do
personal
that?
touch tonight. Details.
I have the right tools for the job.
Right, let's see here. Going through shout outs. Hope everyone's doing well. Hey, Solid. Hey, Jeremy. John. What's up? And John. 2 Johns. One. Both I think spelled with me. Can't get up here. Last 2 days here were very nice, which has been a rarity. Very nice weather-wise. Not too hot, you know, just 85, 87, you know. Oh yeah, great. Oh. Yuck. Yeah.
A story once spoken
Hey,
is
Dale.
ageless. The dungeon imagined without end. The curious
second,
are
Dale. I
the
haven't set
ones
it up
most
yet.
courageous. The tree that endures has to bend.
Almost.
From stillness, the mad mage is stirring.
Hey, what's
From
up?
countless voices, the castle takes shape. Zagig will test the enduring. Those
Alright, we're good.
unlucky will never escape.
Yeah, you guys got Gen Con, man, as well, I know. You running stuff there? I'm assuming you're running it for Greyhawk stuff. Page 8. Good. Good. Yeah. No, Jeremy Astrolier. I think he's attorney. A few events from Bolton, that's it. Dart Hunt? I don't even know what that is. Dart Hunt. Interesting. Yeah. Hey, Greg. Good. I'll have fun. Oh, there you go. But I don't think Chuck's going. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he is. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
POV, I had 30 minutes
Yeah.
before my campaign group showed up, and I was totally
Oh,
unprepared.
good, man. I know you got
I
what,
grabbed my
6-hour
ready set
difference,
encounter
a
box
5,
and
6 hour
boom,
difference there. It's all
everything I
good, man.
needed for an epic session. Adventure
No
hooks,
worries.
map tiles, loot tables, stat blocks, and miniatures, all ready to go. My players still think I spent hours
We're good.
planning our great dragon encounter. If you're a busy dungeon master, get Ready Set Encounter live now on Kickstarter.
Hey, Michael.
POV, I had 30 minutes before my
I'm glad I got you the winners over yet from yesterday, but I will. painting tonight. Or even just running normal open source adventures. How's that? You know what? Maybe common sense, but if not, I don't know. Exactly. Yeah, it's cool, man. I just looked at mine. I was like, how much am I at? My own personal sub for my channel is 97 months. So 3 months away from 100. Yeah. That'll be August, that'll be October. 100. So I mean, 8.5 years.
Please coming up that you need to celebrate. Yeah.
Oh, well, we got Virtual Greyhawk Con, which I got to get cracking on that, right? And then
Yeah.
the 5-year Twitch partner stream will be like first week, sometime the first week of December.
Okay.
And
Cool.
that'll end the year up. But we
Yep.
got other stuff. Too
Mhm.
much, because I don't ever give myself a rest. So
No, we're not
there's
here to
stuff.
rest. Yeah.
We don't get no rest for the weary here. So but this ends up a really good week. We had some great games. We had a great game on Thursday night. We had a whole bunch of new players, new characters. Thanks, Rascal 39. There you go. We had some really good game session, and this is where that idea came from, by the way.
Hmm.
So adding details, because even though it was a home written adventure, no, well, it was kind of a home written adventure. I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to tell you what I did. Let me find it. I think it was here. So yeah. All right. This is from yesterday. So I got a bunch, and they're all over the place. 1-page or 2-page adventure ideas. So this one originally was called like the Hornhold Crypts, right?
Hmm.
So, and I ran that, I don't know how many years ago, and I changed it up to investigation at Runehold. Did not use the map here because I didn't dungeon crawl it like we may have in the past. Made a lot of upgrades and changes to it and things, and then I took 2 of the weapons that they had found, magic weapons, and I named them both. They had Dwarvish runes right on them, which is not in the
Hmm.
adventure.
Yeah.
Right? So that's 2 details I added, and immediately, like Mandy's character got one, and Erin's character, her halfling fighter, got the hand axe, and like they both fell in love with the weapons because they were named right. So like the hand axe was named Choppy. So it was a +1 hand axe. It was +2
Yeah.
against Underdark creatures.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the other one was it's even a little more dangerous. It was called the short sword was called Stubby Slayer. Stubbies are gnomes, halflings, and dwarves. So it was a
Hmm.
+1 weapon, but it was +2 and keen if you fought a gnome, a halfling, or a dwarf. And so, like and this was this dwarf lord's main weapon there. So, do people use intelligent weapons or not swords all the time, Rascal? All the time. I use them with special abilities and stuff. And intelligence, a great question. Yes, I think it's boring just to have intelligent swords. You need to have other intelligent weapons. Absolutely. There's no reason you can't. Just because the original Dungeon Master's Guide has intelligent weapons only as swords, yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't go hog wild with that. There's a difference between a weapon like these 2 weapons that are named with special abilities then a weapon that's actually sentient, right? It has intelligence and ego and all that. So, yeah, cursed intelligent weapons are pretty good too. Absolutely, ones that argue with you and stuff. And Tim got one in Fortress Elendar, the one that's
Mhm.
chicken.
Yeah.
So then he changed the name of it. He changed. He said, "You're going to be this," but now he got to hypnotize it or give it a suggestion spell or something to make it work. But it's like a +4 weapon. So yeah, intelligent ball's good. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's just an example, and that's where I got this idea. What's up, Naz? Let me see what you're at. 90. Okay, you're at 90 months. Naz is at Naz is the highest non-inner circle of friends subscriber we have. 90
Yeah.
months, man. That's awesome, dude. It's good to see it too, man. Hope things are going well over there in the UK. So, yeah. But that's where the idea came from. Like, oh, we can do a whole episode on this because we can do
Mhm.
details on almost anything, right? Maps, adventures, campaign setting, evil guys, like antithesis. You think of the bar, like the end of the welcome wench, whatever you want, you can make changes, and that's what Gary Gygax said, right? Was make Greyhawk your own. What's up there, Michael? Yeah, I see Michael has a whole bunch of new heraldry out on your Patreon too.
Yes. Yeah. I just posted it. I will talk about it at the end.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's great. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Look, it's not even 7 o'clock and I'm babbling. So here, let
Oh,
me
it's
show.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me show these quick real first. Hold on, let me open this up. Just so you know what's going to be coming up this week. Not sure about Wednesday night's Legends of Lore. Anna will not be here for Wednesday night's Legends of Lore
Yep.
or
Mhm.
for
I will be
Gabbin
setting
next
up
week.
stuff at Gen Con
Yeah.
on Wednesday. Yep.
So I got a two-parter adventure where there's going to be only two of the cat players are going to be there both times. So we'll see how that works. But what am I doing? Like, what button do I hit? Here we go. Let's try 13. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Oh, there we go, Anna. 1 second. Desktop change. See, it always resets. Boom. Okay.
Yep. There you go.
Assistance to Glypdel number 1201, part 1. So there's our group: Myriad, Amanda, Gianna, Curtis, and Rob Phantom NJ, and that'll be part 1. That's Thursday night. Part 2, Myriad and Rob are in, but Brett comes in. Curtis isn't available. Brett comes in, and Sparkles Mandy comes in, and I may add one more person to that. So, yep. So that'll be the doubleheader shot for the same adventure. So we'll go Thursday, Saturday doubleheader, because we'll go back to the new group a week from Saturday. It's already been decided. So had some fun dropping intelligent weapons on my players. Gold Digger was the best worst sword ever. It sounds like it is. It sounds like it's probably very greedy if it's named Gold Digger, right? Which is kind of cool. I mean, you can have all sorts of fun with that kind of detail in your game. You can make a lot of changes, but you got to just make sure you don't overdo it. Like I thought and these are +1 weapons, right? Because unless you're fighting Drow, unless Mandy's character is fighting Drow, it's not +2. I'm sorry, Leppy, which is Aaron's, and unless Mandy's character isn't fighting, and she's a good line character, unless she's not hacking apart evil halflings, I guess Darrow and Durgar would be good too. That she's not getting a +2 keen weapon, still +1. So yeah, arrogant, greedy. I like that, and passive aggressive and abusive. It can get tiring to RP that though, you know. If you're arguing with your player, you gotta pick your moments. So you ever use intelligent weapons, Anna?
Oh yes, yep.
Cool.
And now in my Shieldlands campaign, the players have barely figured it out yet, but they got two intelligence weapons, and only one has been handed out, and those are there is one. He's on his way to become a paladin or like a member of the Order of the Shield, and as part of it, they be once they've proven their value in combat and stuff, they are being given a legendary sword, so to speak. So it's an intelligent weapon in the sense that it has the soul of the previous guardian of the sword, and that one is there to teach you and to learn and stuff like that. So if you die, then you will then become, that previous owner will come out and fight for you, and then then you will release him and you will become the new owner of the sword. And then the sword will be handed over, so you can then fight one last time, so to speak, as the previous owner will come back, and that will give you one more chance. And the next time you die, you will then have to reside in the sword and be the next one to guard the. So it's a sword that goes and it's being handed over to each generation knight, so to speak. So you don't know exactly who the previous owner is, but you can learn over time. But it's things like the sword can sense things, especially good and evil, and stuff like that. So it can give you a hint on what you're doing is good or bad. And he can also refuse to cooperate with you if you're going off stray off the beaten path, so to speak. So it's kind of both a moral guidance and a life insurance. You get like one extra because it will be there and protect you once, and as a like a to teach you the final lesson. And once you've done that, you know that okay, you have one chance. Then it's up for you to then guide the next one, so to speak, and reside in the sword. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
the players
incorrect.
hadn't figured out that yet. But it was actually, unfortunately, there was the player that passed away. He was the one that had the
Oh
sword. So
man,
yeah.
that sucks.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So that is the yeah.
yeah, I that's what I thought, Dragger here, that and I don't want to bash 5e, but like I know like the original Dungeon Master's Guide is a mess, right? And there's
Yes,
stuff
it's kind of a mess, but
everywhere.
it's an interesting mess and a rich mess.
It's a rich mess because
Hmm.
like they look at me. A lot of players look at me with two heads. Like when I say, well, if you have a potion of fire resistance that you drank and you want to take a potion of hill giant strength, I'm rolling in the missability table. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Hmm.
You know, which is like awesome in there. Age brackets is another thing, right? It's in there. And the intelligent weapons,
Hmm.
and all the special abilities they have for artifacts is stuff you can pilfer from. Osric does
Yeah,
a good job. But you're right, exactly. You lose Gygaxian Pros, so you just got to be able to dig into the original
yeah,
Dungeon Master's Guide. The heritage procedures that are, in my opinion, key to running the game well. Now, as you were, no one. That's why you run OSE now, or where you're running Knave or whatever you're running. You know, that's what you're doing. You found your home with what you're doing now. So, and that's a good thing. And Anna and I are doing stuff in a 5e publication coming up, but so it is what it is. It's all good. Admissibility it is. Oh, it is available in 5e. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Did not know that. My kids' D&D club gave their DM a copy of Ostrich, and they're switching from 5e to AD&D. Cool. That's good.
hmm
That's awesome. I mean, I
yeah.
love it.
Ostrich is a great way of keeping the old AD&D and still viable, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's cool to hear, Greg, that you used Lens Intelligent Sword and Deep Dwarven Delve. There is one in there.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
trying
had
to
in my
think.
Rel yeah in my
God.
Rel Devin campaign, I also had an intelligence sword, but it's kind of a cursed sword in a way. So I treat cursed swords like intelligent swords with evil intent, so to speak. Those are the cursed swords. So you can get a heck of a lot. It was actually one of the swords that Duke Sephrin had used, one of his swords.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so one of them, and they got that one, and or the sword got them, depending on how you see it. And that sword was simply out for both revenge and for hunger. So the character could get a lot of goodies out of it, but he needed to kill a good character each day to get it, so to speak. So once he killed a good creature, then the sword will open up and give him a lot of stuff, so to speak. And the sword was kind of cranky and didn't want to tell it outright. But every time he swung at something neutral, it was kind of a so-and-so sword. And as soon as he attacked something good, oh God, he got lots of powers because the sword was kind of rewarding him for the right behavior. So that player had a hard time resisting the bloodlust of going after things.
And that's where you can have a lot of fun with
Hmm.
throwing
Yep.
wrenches in because
Yep.
not all of them are good are going to be yeah. Um, utilized, you know, are going to be perfect. They're going to have real quirks. I love the story that I had during Con. Not intelligent, but the quirk it had was great. Dirty, but great. So I have
Yeah.
thrown in a couple of, um, I have a weapon, and I forget who I gave it to. It's named Trouble. My gosh, I don't remember who I gave it to, but in my game, it's keen, so it crits on a 19 or
Mm-hmm.
20,
Yep.
but it fumbles on a 1 or 2. Yes.
Yep.
So I can't remember who has it. I'll have to go
Yep.
look through the
Yep. in
backburner
Hawk.
spears are funny, man. You throw that, it comes right back at you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds like trouble. Yeah, that was the name of it. God, I can't remember who I gave it to though. That one is, but it was recent. Too much going on. Yeah, the curse weapons are really a problem. And like Tim's Barbarian picked up that cursed sword in Out Fortress Elendar, and he just ran with it. So that was good to see. It was good to see. You know, he does it all the time. Imric has it. All right, so Imric. Okay, there you go. Thanks, Sparky. I couldn't remember if that was if that was it. Trouble. Yeah, I may have given it to someone else who's actually you know, regularly playing too. Another copy of it. But yeah, I'm glad to see that you. That's funny. Yeah. Hey, John. So, what we're gonna do here, we're gonna bounce all over the place tonight. How's that sound? And you guys can come up with ideas too, you guys and gals, so we can have you know, if you got an idea for where you want more detail in your game, what you've done, we can discuss it. I just throw up the weapons because that's where I got the idea from on Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow, this would be a good thing. Um, yeah. Yeah, my gosh, people got so much going on. Gen, is everyone leaving Tuesday? No people going to Gen Con? You go Tuesday, Hannah, or Wednesday?
No, I go Wednesday morning, early Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Mike
So
Morris,
we'll set up in Wednesday afternoon, and then we will man the booth on Thursday. So yeah.
all right. So Mike Morris just did that too. Okay, I'm not doing his Patreon, but I saw it. So
Oh yeah,
he's
I'm doing his Patreon.
he's got
Yeah.
an AD&D hack. There,
Yep. He has like a simple 5e, kind of a 5e
right,
1986 or whatever he calls it. So like if 5e will be done back then. I
right.
haven't read all the stuff yet, but
What
it's
booth you
kind of
at,
cool.
Anna?
150.
150.
Yep. I will go
Yeah,
over that at the end too. So yeah.
I had
And
too
I will
much.
post on my blog too. So yeah, before I leave, so
Yeah,
people can find me.
after concoction and CNY, and they took time off for CNY.
Exactly. It's the next
Too much.
aisle. It's only like 50 feet away from the trolls. I will be able to see the troll booth, the rear side of the trolls, so
I
to
honestly
speak.
have no idea if Chuck's going or not. I
Yeah,
don't know.
we'll see. Hopefully he will go, but yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know if he's going.
Yeah.
But you guys have a good time there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many people are they expecting? Expecting 60,000 or something?
Probably, yeah, something. I think the record so far is like
That's what I
80,000
thought, too.
something. I
Oh my
wouldn't be
gosh.
surprised if it's like 80, 90,000 this year as well.
I liberated feet bears the mark of Zapin. I remember the Dark Gate. When time comes, the party will be not by name, don't part quest.
Okay.
I love it.
Yep.
That's a good idea. So.
Oh, okay. Chuck is, yeah, okay. Yep.
Yeah, I didn't think. I mean, they have to know who's going, but I don't.
Yeah.
I have no idea who's going for.
Yeah, me neither, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let me show you something here.
Awesome. Yep.
Okay, here we go. All right. So I've gone over this multiple times. In fact, when we talked about Shieldlands just recently, I went over this, but we're going to come here. Okay. Treasures of Greyhawk. Right. It's in this, the adventure we're going to go to is right here, Crossing into Steel, page 69. Now, Face of Xenos is a sequel that whatever happens, which you don't have to do it right after because we didn't. I'm going to wait until I'm old and retired, I think. This Crossing into Steel bears a Santher, a paladin female, and she ends up imbued into the sword at the end. So if you want an adventure where you actually go and create this holy adventure, and Tom's character, Pellinor the Golden, has it now. Very weak character, so I had no problem with him getting a class. So, and there. So that's actually an adventure with that's in published source that you can tweak it to your game, put it wherever you want. It doesn't have to be in the shield lands. And that's another thing here. We come down to the map, and it doesn't say where, so I tweaked it and made it so it's at the it's at the pond behind the ruins of the Gradavis estate, which is
But
Marco's.
that makes
Okay.
makes sense because it's erroneous, so that area makes good sense.
Well,
Yeah.
it's set in the Shieldlands, but it doesn't
Okay.
say
Yep.
where in the Shieldlands it's set. So
Yep.
yeah, so that's where I had it done, and not far from Fortress Elendor. So yeah, just to show you that that's another one where you have a really cool magic item which has some intelligence to it. Yeah. And then we all know about a scalable one, right? How many people use scalable weapons or items in your campaign?
Scalable meaning
Like it's first, the weapon's +1 when you're first. When you're fourth, it's +2.
oh yeah, the sword I'm using in Shieldlands, that's a legend that grows with you. Yeah.
Okay, and you call it
Yep.
legendary or
Yeah.
okay.
Well, yeah, that was what it called in 3rd edition of Pathfinder, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I
they
just
had a
used
name
that
for
term.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So scalable weapons are really, I think, a
Yep.
direction you can take that really can help you out. Look, who wants to give out a Holy Avenger at first level? No one. Right?
No, but that sword will grow into a Holy Avenger as you grow in ability, so to speak. When you take smite and stuff, the sword will assist you and make you better. So yeah,
I like it. That's
if you
perfect.
serve so it starts out as a +1 weapon and then it goes up and becomes more powerful and you can pick up as you grow, so to speak. So you guide the sword as much as the sword guides you.
All right, here we are. Okay, so here's the Fellowship of the Torch, right? So Anastasia Ariane Nightstar, the dual class human fighter mage.
Yeah.
Probably has a little elven blood, but she has the Torch of Anaxander, and it has, here's the effects it has now. But if you go into From the Ashes, it has more because she's gotten higher level. So it's scalable. It's like the first scalable item in old school Greyhawk that I know of. Yeah, and I think it does some magic missiles or some other things too. But that is it. And on their heraldry, actually have the torch on it on their heraldry for the Fellowship of the Torch. So it's look, Bastard Sword +5 Holy Avenger. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? No, I'm sorry. That's what she had possessed before. The torch is very special. So it's basically her secondary hand item. Yep. So there you go.
Yeah.
So just if you want another one in published source you can mess around with. So
yeah. I have it that Holy Avengers is not a weapon that is made specifically that way. It's more like a weapon that your deity gives to you, so to speak. It will take your weapon and make it into a Holy Avenger if the deity finds you worthy, so to speak. That's more how I have it. It's not an item that is laying around being that way. It's a weapon that is attuned to you, and it's a gift that is being given to you from your deity, so to speak. So and the weapon.
Yeah. Good way to do it, especially.
But then it binds to you, so to speak. Right. And this is what I have with that sword. That needs to be then handed over formally to you when you become ordained as a new squire of the order, so to speak. Then you're being given it, and if you're lucky and skilled and loyal to the order, then it can grow into something really cool.
Dennis, let me know about Wednesday and next Sunday, okay? Because Anne is out, so I'd love to have you. And if you're on Wednesday, we'll do some geology or something. And if you're on Sunday, we'll do some customization of classes. So just let me know when you're gonna Wednesday next Sunday for next week.
I had the same issue in my Shieldland campaign so far. So yep.
Yeah, how to just buy him some new paint sets at Gen Con. Cool. What brand though, Dale? What brand? Yeah, I tend to use items that are so that's okay. They're scale. They're not weapons. Bracers of defense are a good one. Rings of protection could be a good scalable weapon. You can. Okay. Okay, you want to save geology for Anna's round? All right, so Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, we'll figure it out. All right, Do me a favor, too, Dennis. You did? I don't see it in here. Oh, and the L&L planning. Okay. We'll save that. Give me if you come up with 1 or 2 topics yourself, let me know, and then we can talk about it for Wednesday. Because that'd be cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
Something specific. Give me the details of money on Tuesday. Cool. Yep. Thanks, man. It's good to see you. But so that's just one thing. I mean, that's just items, right? So there was one. All right. So there was one other article. I think it was called things. It was called something like things that do wonderful items that do wonderful things. And there was it was in Dragon. It's in my items book for magic items downstairs. But basic items have one little minor quirk that help you,
Mhm.
right? So one of them was these boots that they weren't really fire resistance, but they're traveler's boots, so your feet never hurt when you walked in them. I mean, little minor stuff like
Yeah.
that.
But
Uh,
that's a great addition. It makes the
yeah,
cute little quirks because that means that you can hand them out early, often, and don't worry about it too much.
true, Bill. True. That's true. One of my first. That was the first test on the scale of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Um, so this is a funny one, and Bill will remember this story. So in an adventure, we found a blade, but it was a razor blade of shaving. So it wouldn't cut your skin, but it would shave your beard and your mustache and stuff, which I thought was really cool item. And we had this is a long time ago. This is like late 80s, early 90s. Some of the fringe players, well, they had two Dark Elf brothers and sisters, and the one guy was pissed at the other guy, at his sister, played by another guy. He took the razor blade when she was unconscious, and he shaved her head and made it into an 8-ball. Yeah, so okay, Bill even put it up before I even said it in chat. Right. So so there you go. Shaving razor blade got good use out of it. Yes. Oh, those were the days, weren't they, Bill? You knew exactly where I was going with that talk. Uh, that was Zaina, right? Nim and Zaina, I think, were the names of the characters. Oh my gosh, that was funny. Bill, the first Frog God, told me we will not be at Gen Con. Hope you have a blast, though. There you go. So no Frog God at Gen Con. Is Bill going to Gary? Is Bill going to Gary Con, Michael? I hope so. Hope he's going to be there. So, yeah, that was hysterical. He caught that. My guys know all the stories, just so people know I'm not bullshitting. That was one of the funniest things. Yeah. What was one of the funniest things that happened to Tim? I think. Well, no, maybe Alan. Alan had Alan's halfling thief. Sam is paranoid, so he used to sleep. He had a helm of underwater action. He'd sleep in a, t- a tub under his bed in water, right? He'd sleep in the tub. I guess because he thought that was safe. And then I think Garnett's character, Garnett's character actually put blue dye in the water one night. So he's asleep. He wakes up. His whole skin is completely blue. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. The jokes that we used to pull on each other back in the day. By the way, giveaway once again. Harder card deck with another Conan sword. Woohoo! And then some Troller Game GCs. Right? So yeah. Yeah. So items are a way to go with making little tweaks, and details, adding details. Because let me tell you something: when your players get a hold of a +1 sword, or they get a hold of a +1 weapon that's named in whatever language it's in, with abilities that are kind of cool but not overpowering, that's a great feeling, right? So a lot of people will take the name weapon over a more powerful weapon because they think, wow, this is, it's got character to it. And I'm thinking that that's a good thing. I've been and spell effects too. Shields, spell effects on them. Shields with other class abilities on them. I've been giving out a lot of these shields have like a wolf head or a lion head on them. And then those things can like howl or whatever, and they can do our battle or demoralizing shouts that the fighters get. So that's another way to a little trick. So just to add some quirks and details to it especially from the Greyhawk setting. Wow, I know. Huh, that's weird. I just got a notification on something I hadn't seen. And do you use Test Flight, Anna?
Test flight?
Test Flight's a thing to test apps on the.
No, I don't dare run any test apps on my phone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's where
Yep.
they go on, but it just said I need,
Mm-hmm.
I've been in there trying to write like paragraph histories for plus magic weapons. Yeah, that's good too, Sparky. Like where they came from and stuff. In
Yep.
fact, I should write up some more magic items for the Melf book. I have like 6 or 7 of them. I should put a couple more in there. So you
Mm-hmm.
may see some couple ones that I've given out as submissions. So, or you may not see them if they don't get accepted. But yeah, and we use props or handouts to add detail. Yes, yeah, that's good. Bard, that's a real good one for detail. Most of them come from games for me. But like I love and do they do this in later editions where they show the pictures like they do in Tomb of Horrors or
I think it's been done a few
Baltron's
times.
Beacon?
I've
Yeah,
seen various adventures later on, both on the Path of Paizo era and others who used illustrations, but they were not presented as they were presented in the text, so to speak, but they were still intended, I think, to show the players what something looked like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I ran Baltron's Beacon last year for the 24-hour stream, let me just bring up that adventure. Oh, this is the Greyhawk's Guide to Baltron's Beacon that they did. I haven't looked at this in a while. Here, I'll bring this up, see if it's in here. Greyhawker's Guide to Baltron's Beacon. Preview by Gary Julian. I wonder if it's in here. Location is, yeah, Demetrius. All the people. See, this is great. I forgot that he did that. I thought that was the adventure, but it's not. So let me see if I can bring the Baltron's Beacon. This is one of my favorite handouts of all time. If I can frickin', it's probably in the back. This. I love this handout here as far as a published source adventure goes. Wanted brave adventurers. Are you bored, listless, unappreciated? Looking for just the right quest to suit your finely honed talents? Plenty of gold and treasure for all. See Demetrius the Sage, that goes on. I love that handout. That's a great handout. Yeah, that's a great adventure. And I wonder if it ever it doesn't say anywhere in the adventure where it actually is, correct? This is one that got absconded for Greyhawk, if I recall, because it really doesn't tell you where this is, Anna, right? Baltron's? No, it doesn't. A lot of them say here, play here, play here. It doesn't say that. It just got assumed it's in Greyhawk. Yeah, that's a real cool one for that, for those handouts. And excuse me. Making your own's a great thing. Like visuals, notes, right? Scroll tubes would have like writing on them. Yeah, it's a great adventure. That's why I ran it for the 24 hours. Perfect for that. So that is a great suggestion there on that one. Handouts. Yeah. Trying to think of other handouts that I've given out during. Tim was big on handouts in the early days. He actually
Yeah.
would write letters
Yeah.
and he put seal. He had a seal. He actually had a wax sealer, because his dad was a Shakespearean actor and had all this stuff. So he would actually melt the wax and do a wax seal on it, which I thought was the coolest thing when I was in high school. Yeah, he'd always do that. Yeah, very good with that adds a ton of detail to any game. But in Greyhawk, like for example, it's hard for me to do it when I got everyone remoting in, or why, right? So
Hmm.
it's better just bring it up on the screen and pop it up over on the screen, right? Because most of them are except for one or two maybe. But like I had the Seekers Thursday night brought a scroll over to Gemma Winchester for the adventure to go out and seek out this location, and that's what they did. So yeah, it's great. Even the even if it's not like written down or whatever, or you throw it up on the screen if your people were playing it via Discord or whatever, it's cool. It's a real cool thing to do. That's a great one. Yeah, great suggestion. Excuse me. Oh, man, I hate that tickle cough. So, all righty, good one. Anna, you got something you want to discuss on would you add some detail in your game or any game?
Well, for me, I think the big thing for me is that I add geographical detail to
Oh
an
yeah,
area, so to speak. I put
it's an
in,
understatement.
yeah. So that I think is I kind of work out the history and little settlements and it's like the village of old that there was a tree, an oak outside the village. There was one tree inside the village just next or the town just next to the keep that was used to be just a normal tree, but then IUCNs hang people from there, so then it became kind of cursed and it was difficult because they hang that the first wave of people that didn't like, they just hung them from the tree as an example of don't protest because they're going to go bad. But there was an oak outside the town walls that had been there for hundreds of years, and that one the Ayusians were scared of it because they could sense that it had some sort of power, its influence and primal powers. So they burned it down, and the next day it grew back again. So they were like it grew back very quickly, and sprouted leaves again. So then they were scared. And that interesting because that oak had a story. The it was part of the original when the Iridians settled it and stuff. They had Flan workers and stuff who built the town walls and locals and stuff that they hired, and they were Flan. So they set up. They had the camp outside, and they had a druid and who they blessed the tree originally, so to speak. And this is like 300-400 years ago. This like in the 150 or something like that, CY when they built the road. And so they blessed the tree originally and gave the tree a little bit of power and nurtured the tree, so to speak. And then it stayed like that, and it became a little thing. The locals they kind of you gave the tree a little bit of a blessing, and it became a thing. They had the festivals and they had big parties and they had and so on and so forth. They celebrated that on that field next to the tree. So the tree became as a focal point, so to speak, and that was the way for a long time. And then came a dark side of the tree because what happened was that the Halmarda the Cruel,
Oh
he
gosh.
came to the area and he came in and slaughtered and took over the town, and he slaughtered the people and the Shieldlanders who guarded it, so to speak. So he was the first evil that came in, and what the Halmara's people
Slaughtered.
did was that they buried the villagers that they slaughtered out next to the tree because they didn't want to have the rotten bodies inside the town, so they piled them up next to the tree, and the tree was really pissed, so to speak. And that was the scene when the Shieldlanders came back with a vengeance. So what they did was that they murdered all the Halmardar people that they took them out and executed them on the field next to the tree
The
again.
Shieldlanders did?
Oh yes, all the Halmardar people they found, so to speak, they took them out and chopped the head off and executed them, cursed them to make sure that they couldn't come back and haunt them. And so they burned them using holy fire out there.
Oh my
But that was
gosh.
a little bit away from the tree. And so the tree was that, and then the Yausians came and the tree had kind of had enough, so to speak. So the tree was really getting angry at everyone trying to burn and cause mischief and stuff. So the tree it had a little bit of sentience, very, very weak, so to speak. It was
Uh-huh.
like the first stages. It was a tree that has been worshipped and been part of so the tree had character, so to speak. It was not an awakened tree, but it had character and it had intent, so to speak. So when the Iusians came, it was that it got really pissed. So it made sure to grow back, and the Iusians never trusted it, so to speak. And so the characters, they knew a little bit of, they saw this story, and they got hope back when the tree came back, and the people in the village, they really grew fond of their tree that thwarted the Iusians, and the Iusians were so scared they didn't go back to the tree. So they were really they cherished the tree immensely, so to speak. So that was part. These are kind of little things that I kind of add into to story that they don't mean that much in mechanics, but a place should come with a history, and there should be things. And the tree can do simple things. The tree can heal a little bit, and the tree can send like evil intent. It can be spooky and scary a little bit, and it can make odd sounds and stuff like that. It can't reach grab people, but it can scare a bit at night and stuff, and it can attract animals and or scare them off and stuff like that as needed. So it has a little bit of a stuff. So yep, exactly. That tree has had a rough life, so to speak. So there's various things. I always try to, if I have an area that's another area north of it is a cave that was originally they call it the Bride's Fall, and it's from a little hill that is overlooking a lake. And this is an old folk tale that I took from back from home in Sweden. The town next door, they had a it was kind of an awesome, it's like a 300-foot cliff that leads down into a lake, and you can go through a little cave, and then you can go up the cave on the other side, and it's like a ledge, and it's like a balcony looking out over it, and they call it the bridal bed, or how you pronounce it, like the bridal fall. And so I had it that it was an old Flan woman or young girl or young woman that didn't want to marry, and her family tried to force her, so she ran up to the hill and threw herself down into the lake and died, sacrificed herself. And that was the story back in that 200 years ago or something like that. I don't think it's actually true, but no one really knows. But the place looks really, really cool and very amazing. So when I saw that they had the same geography north of this village near the lake, so I simply wrote that in. And so she actually comes back and haunts the area, so to speak. And when the Iusian came and stuff, she kind of took some of her haunt was powerful enough that it overcame a few goblins and stuff like that. So she has now a bunch of goblins that are kind of obsessed with her and are now under her spell. And they go around terrorizing the neighborhood and do a little bit of stuff. So yeah. I'm not so sure it's true. We make up stuff like everybody else. So it's, but there might be some truth to it. I don't know, but it's a cool location, and it's kind of awesome. And you can hike there, and you can sit up there. Yeah. So it definitely within the realm of possibility, that's for sure. But it's interesting why, well, on the other hand, if you choose that place, you can be certain to die because it's so the fall is so high, and there's cliffs and stuff down by the water. So it's kind of, yeah. So that was another one of these little places. So I tried to sprinkle in a whole bunch of stuff like that, weaving in the history of the setting, and then try to come up with reasons why this or that happened, and that could force. And also because I wanted the Iusians to have things they were scared of and affected the Iusian clerics, because they are like an invasion force, and they are that the highest one was like fifth level. There was a third level and a couple of first level clerics, and that was it. They were supposed to have like an unruly bunch of villagers that were about 100 or so, and so they were terrified too. And they didn't know when the village was going to rebel. And there was also a secret agent. The smith was one of Katarina's agents that she sent out early to work work behind enemy lines. So he was the smith in the village, and he was like a 7th level fighter ranger type, so to
Oh,
speak.
he wasn't a Linda Kafka Smith class though.
No. He was so he was sent out early, so to speak. So he was there to kind of report back, and when liberation came, he could kind of prepare and be ready for it, so to speak. So when the day came, and that was when Vakunis came. That's when the villagers decided, the players decided, now we're going to rebel, and they did, and the Smith was the first one to be on their side because he realized that okay, now they're going for it, so I'm going to. And he knew that the Shield Patrol had just arrived too and was going to arrive. So the players noticed that something going. That the players were more wanted to. They were ready to sacrifice their characters. They weren't like, we're going to win this. No, we're going to go out with a bang. That was the more the idea, so to speak. So they didn't know, and that was part of what I think was really, really cool. The players thought that this will be their last stand, and we're just gonna, okay, we're going to do this. We'd had enough, and we have the back against the wall. We're just gonna. This is getting, because we played a few sessions, and it's been so gritty and so tough and so horrible. So they were like, okay, let's sacrifice our characters. We're going to die on this hill. And then when they did, they realized they had more. The odds were on their side rather than the Iusian clerics side. So that was actually, so that was the timing. I wasn't sure how that was going to go because I let it up to the players to initiate a rebellion or not, so to speak.
That's good.
Yep. So that's the type of stuff I do when I run a sandbox, meaning I don't know what's going to happen.
right.
I can just lay out the pebbles on the beach, so to speak, and then the rest plays out.
I tried to find pictures and I don't, because I don't remember the adventure name. And one of them I found, but it's on my old computer, which is down in the basement. So I don't have every picture from every
Yep.
adventure on this computer. But like, so as far as the trees go, I have two instances of that kind of thing. Um, First off, you all remember Brian, and of course, Bill Master Crafter does. Brian from World of Warcraft, who's on Once in a Blue Moon now. You know, he's got a lot of family stuff going on, but he was like one of the originals as well, as far as mods. They made up an NPC on the stream once, and he helped. He really did it. Actually, he did all of it, and came up with Fiona, who's this like probably is what do you call it? A dryad, but looks very elvish, and she's got one eye. You know, eyes are different colors or whatever, and so like she's very mystical. And so there's this tree near Warmonger's Tower. Also shows she's actually Fiona's at a tree outside Happy Springs too, which is, you know, because the spirits are, some kind of right forest spirit. But so for doing stuff for her, like protecting her tree or you know, going and saving someone from the forest or whatever, she makes these items out of flowers or, you know, bracelets and brooches and stuff, all out of you know, they just look like innocuous, but they're actually magical. So like you'll get Fiona's bracelet of defense, you know, things like that. So it's cool. And the second one is of course the elven trees. And that maybe if I type in elven tree, maybe that'll come up, and I can show. And that's from Les's article. Let me see tree. Let me try elven. Just see if it comes up there. There we go. All right. All right. I don't remember, and Sam will know. I don't remember which one of these, if it's in Visions or if it's in the Grimoires. So yeah, here it is. Elven lore, hidden secrets about elven trees. I've used this twice. So one for my guys, and then one for Echidna and Aurelia's, an ancestor of hers. There's one tree in the Sus as well, and just taking this and change it up, right? There's one of the elven trees, right? So that exists. You know, the elves actually, it's spirits embedded, and actually the tree goes around them. It's kind of hideous when you think about it, but those elven trees are in Selene. So like, and they were supposed to signify the borderlands of whatever land that they're protecting, and there's only a few left because a lot of them got torn down. The evil found them, destroyed them. So yeah, that's a cool thing for what Les did with the trees. I love that. So I took that and made some minor changes to it to fit my thought of what's going on in Saline. So we got we got one that's known from a relative on the border in the Lort Mills. You got one that's in the Sus. So there's 2 of them I've done. So yeah, very cool stuff. And that's the article. So I don't know if Sam's on, but Sam, if you're on, reference which I think it's Visions. I want to say Visions 3, but that's a guess. I was trying to go through. I got to update this. I am 50 some adventures behind in getting this thing updated. I got to get going on that for all 2026. I got to get moving on that. That's another thing I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's use Greyhawk expressions. Yes, cold iron to value. Yeah, actually, Touch of Evil said that earlier on as well. Guards, lender, help me through this watch. Things like that. That is a cool idea. Sargent started doing that for really in From the Ashes.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it was frickin' Foltis people, most of them, right? But there were some other ones. But like that was the one that was the big one, was singing hymns and cold weather's Foltis' way of telling you to throw another heretic on the fire, that kind of stuff, right? So, but that's a great idea, is like little sayings and stuff. One thing that connects with that Anna's way better at that than I am, and that is holidays and date timelines. I don't, because I have so many different adventure groups and we're bouncing all around the timeline. I don't I
Yeah.
don't tell them, oh, this
But
this date.
Yeah, but in the sandbox campaign, I think even Gary Gygax wrote an article in Dragon Magazine about the importance of timekeeping. If you run a sandbox campaign and you want it to make sense and have consistency, you need to keep track of how time progresses, because that is the big limitations for your NPCs and villains and stuff to move around. So when the players screw up and do something, then you have to keep track of how long does it take a villain to find out what happens, then plan a reaction and then execute the reaction. And that might be minutes if it's in the next room, or rounds if it's in the next room. But if you go around murdering people in a town, or conquer a keep that villain controls, it might take a week for the villain to find out what happens, and then he needs to gather, or whatever, it needs to gather its forces, decide if to strike back, to do some recon. And that means that he might very initially, when he realized something had happened, send out a recon force, and that recon force might be there in track down the players or the characters in like a day or so. But that will be a small force, and they might attack the players, or they might just be aware of the players. And if the players manage to kill all of them in the recon force, then it might take longer for the main force to arrive, and they don't know if and the villain might be, yeah. But on the other hand, if the recon force finds the players, they will be able to guide the main force, but that might be a week later or something. So then you get like the players might, or the characters might be in an overland chase without knowing it. And then all of a sudden they might be surrounded by hundreds or whatever it is down the line. So in my campaign, a lot of that it's stuff you have to think of, the consequences of what you do. So once you start assembling enemies and gathering enemies, then that happens. But that also works in reverse. If you go after a henchman, they might not be able to get reinforcement in quite some time, so to speak, especially if you cut off the communications.
So that's like, I guess I could, but for me, I could never not have up a list of, for example, a Priest of Ayus, a Black Death Squad or something, all written up, ready to go, knowing that this happened, now this reaction happens in Sandbox. I see that would drive me insane.
Oh yeah, but that's the pre-plan. What I do is that
Right.
I put up the stat blocks, and I put up ideas saying, and I have an overview map, so to speak, that is like the southern shield lands, everything like within 100 miles or so, that things that can react, so to speak, that are that could be come in and out of the scenes, so to speak, that can be part of the area that the characters are in. And then I simply say, well, these are the factions and their resources that are available within the area. And then the players are let in and loose, and then I move those tokens around on the map as the game progresses, so to speak. The players do something and to scare off someone, or they reward someone, that rumor spreads, then I note that, and all of a sudden there's a lot of goodwills because the characters did X, Y, or Z in an area, and that spreads, and that alerts someone or pleases someone in the other factions, and they react to it, and then momentum builds over time, so to speak. So
Yeah.
so that's part of
Okay.
the picture.
Okay.
Yep.
It's just different style. That's all. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
Yep.
that. Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
it's where you put your emphasis in, so to speak,
Yep.
and what you kind of where you put your effort into, and meaning don't have miniatures to paint, and I don't have terrain to build and stuff like that, so I make maps and come
Right,
down
right.
with
No,
stuff. So yeah,
absolutely.
so it's simply
100%.
what you want to invest in, and also things that you are good at, you can run by the seat of your pants. Things that you are worse at, you should plan more. You should try and cover for your weak spots in some ways.
Shut up, Josh.
And if you're smart as a DM, so to speak. So of course you should do what you're good at, but you should also cover the weak spots a bit, so to speak. And the reason I prep very much in those areas is that I'm not good at voices. I'm not good at acting as a DM at the game table and stuff like that. So that means that I can't perform at the game table half as well as most other DMs can. And that means that I need to have more tools and kind of things to work with, more concepts to work with, more cool details and stuff like that to woo my players, because I can't just yell and scream in cool voices and point with my hand and yell out cool, awesome stuff that some other DMs can. So I'm trying to compensate for my what I'm weak at, so to speak.
So, let's see, topic with, I'm sorry, I gotta
Hello.
miss what I had
Yeah,
to do.
Rob and everybody
Yeah.
coming in here. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So,
Recurring villains. That's a good one. We
yeah,
need to come back to
good.
that one.
Yeah, so that one is my top one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so hey Rob, what's going on? So Rob and Myriad will be the only persons the PCs playing in both games this for Thursday and Saturday, and they'll have the same character, more than likely. Yeah. So ever since I had that discussion on, my God, I wish I had never killed off Lareth the Beautiful so fast, or Drelsna so fast. I mean,
Yep.
Rob's probably going insane trying to get a hold of Thunderlips in the Barbarian one, right, Rob? And plus, I keep on throwing in all these. Hey, Extort, thank you. I keep on throwing all these sidekicks of them that makes it worse, right?
Yeah.
So, but like, or it took a long time to get the Son of Orcus. I waited until a fundraiser, of course, and we did it. We did it there at the fundraiser 2 years ago. Thunderlips is running out of minions. Yes. So villains, recurring NPCs, most of the time, I'm going to say 90% of the time, um, uh, it is not a published source character, right? Because I learned my lesson in that, killing off a cool published source character. So they're characters that I'm gonna curate myself, fit in the campaign. By the way, you have another one coming up, Rob, in the Barbarian one coming up. It's going to tie into Thunderlips and everything. And it's a published source adventure. And I ran it a couple years ago, and I'm like, this is perfect. I'm going to run it. I'm going to change it up and run it again. I'm going to change it, make detail, tweak it, and run it. Oh yeah, yep. And then we'll see where that'll probably be the culmination adventure. Over a couple sessions, we'll see. But that's the thing. Yeah, they are. villains are, I don't want to say all villains are precious, but a lot of them are. You're going to reintroduce Lareth. Well, good thing is, like, for example, Jeff in 5e, he has Lareth already out in 10, being groomed by Loth, which I thought was genius by him, because it's not going to affect Hamlet or any of the other stuff that would come up, because it's earlier, lower level, you know. Because I think he's like 5th, isn't he 5th level in Hamlet? I think
Yeah,
it's
something like that, I
either 5th or
think. Yeah.
6th. Hey Jeff, good to see you. So yeah,
Hello.
recurring villains are meant to be cherished. Now, I said, I'm talking about we're not talking about the minion type characters, because you can make them all day long. But like, yeah, you want someone like, or an organization like everyone hates now, the Mongrels. Now that the Mongrels have been acting in Altamira, it's funny because Cord created this jester, right? Johann Sparkle Tongue, right? He has glitter all over his tongue. I don't know. It's like, how do you do that? So he sticks his tongue out, it's all glittery and stuff. It's like, oh my God, I just realized this is probably going to be a prized possession for the Mongrels. And I said, you said it, buddy, not me. So he's like all worried about the Mongrels coming after him for his tongue now, because that'll be like, get the sparkly tongue out of the goofy guy with the jester outfit on. So, hey, you did it to yourself. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of fun stuff. Main goal in my main campaign, the main group in my main campaign still has only taken out one of the 3 main witches. Cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think a good question, how do you ensure big bads survive for now? And that was one of my problems I've had with D&D, because D&D is very much you have a slogfest, and then you either one side defeats the other one, so to speak. Once you go into combat, the attacks go back and forth, one side defeats the other. And it's a system that kind of gives fairly clear indications after a few rounds. The combat go one way or the other, and you're done with, so to speak. And you get few surprises if you put something that is way more powerful, especially in the older editions. It will statistically win 99% of the time, so to speak. So it's kind of fairly easy to. I mean, you can look at the stat block and say how well it will perform, to almost, because it's simple. You have hit points, and you do this much damage, or you have saves and stuff. So it can go, and then you have the combination of putting together various opponents versus the party.
You are forgetting. And this is where my
please.
advantage is.
Yeah.
Terrain.
Exactly. Meaning, yes, exactly. You have a bunch
at the top of a hill, a mountain or a hill up top.
Yep.
And they go disappear off the other side of them. They're like,
there you exactly. You have to play with them. But I wanted in Hogtails, I wanted more levers to play with. And I wanted to have more uncertainty. So even if you're 10th level, you can't walk around thinking you own the place, so to speak. So I built, you have 2 levels of vulnerability. You have the immediate vulnerability with hit points that you can lose, and then you become, it's riskier to die. So low-level characters have few hit points, so can go down quickly in combat, but can take a more brutal punishment afterwards without dying, so to speak. So a low-level characters can be vulnerable on the battlefield, but survive more because they're young and healthy and has kind of a stamina in that sense. An old, let's say a character who's been around the bend a lot of times and is like 12th level, have tons of hit points, meaning a lot of experience of how to avoid getting killed and stuff like that. So they will have way more stamina in a battle, meaning they have more hit points. They can take much more of a beating that way. But once they run out of hit points, then they can die quickly because they are war torn and beaten up before and stuff like that. So you can be vulnerable in many different ways. And that way it's kind of tricky because sometimes you can find a monster or an opponent that might have a vorpal weapon, for instance. And all of a sudden that can be, just like in old D&D, it can be brutally dangerous, even if it doesn't matter if you have 280 hit points. You go down like a ton of bricks anyway if you're getting hit. So someone who has the right tool and can get to you can cut you down very, very quickly, or a bunch of enemies can overpower you very quickly. They might not be able to kill you outright, but they will take you down very, very quickly. So you have to kind of be a bit more tactical, and you can also take risks in some ways because that can reward. And you can also take risks in that sense that I'm going to burn it all and I'm going to get to him, so to speak. That means that you can burn off a heck of a lot of resources and be very powerful in the moment, but that might hamper you long term. And death saves and stuff can hamper you for the rest of your character's career. It's not like in 5e you just take it and after the rest you just like back. No, you don't have if you start failing your death saves, your character becomes closer and closer to death. So there are more things that there's a long-term perspective in that I wanted in my rule set, so to speak, that you don't have in D&D. So it's like that means that some fights you can realize right away, I shouldn't take this fight. I'm not going to spend valuable resources. My character has only this much in his or her character's career. I'm not going to spend this on this. I'm going to skip this one and run. And the monsters and villains have the same idea. So that means that there will be more in Hawk Tales. Simply due to mechanics, there will be more hit and runs. There will be more who come in and hit you and see if they get a really good hit and they could knock you out of combat, so to speak. If they misses that one, they will probably run away and hit you some other time. If they're lucky and get you to stumble, then they might stay and fight. And you can do the same thing. You can move in and hit hard and see if it doesn't work, then you can bug out, so to speak. So a little bit of more of that, so to speak, than in regular D&D. So I'm tweaking some of the things so you can't really be sure. Every fight can be dangerous no matter who you are. But on the other hand, you can have a lot of stamina even when you're low level. Things can be gritty, but not necessarily deadlier. Yeah, that might be confusing in some ways, but so far in the playtest, most players have liked it. Not all. There are some people who say, I like it when you just have hit points, period. I know how my standing is, and that's it, so to speak. So yeah, but that's the way with all rules. You have your taste and your flavor and what you like and don't like.
I just want to show this, and this is from Saturday. This is the setup.
Yeah.
This is outside. This is Runehold. So they came in up here and up the gate, right? They got up here. So they got this mausoleum, they got one back here, they got this ruin here, they got the trees back here. They came up, two characters went this way, one went that way, two went this way, one went that way. Because undead came from 4 different directions, top, here, and here. I split the party into 4 just in this one fight. And that's the kind of stuff where if a good baddie, the bad guy, like, say there's a leader here, if he's not like up on that tower or something and directing and has a way out, he's a stupid leader then, right? Now, I'm just using that as an example. I mean, some of these chaotic evil guys don't even care, right? Because they're like, oh, we're more powerful than them. We're going to wipe them all out. I understand that, but like, that's the kind of stuff that I look at when I set up a tactic. I want to see how many different ways I can have these characters running, right, Mandy?
Yeah.
Running all over the freaking place. So yeah, it was fun.
And that's again, that points out what I've said many times in this show. I think intelligence and wisdoms are the most important stats on enemies, because that will kind of tell you as a DM how to use these, meaning intelligently, meaning some dumb monsters would just storm into combat thinking that, okay, there's 8 of us and 4 of the characters, so just run in. And smart enemies will know and can evaluate the situation and the enemy and act accordingly, so to speak.
Right. And I've been playing my major antitheses a lot more smart than I had been in the last 20 years.
Exactly, Scottish Jeff. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yep. I totally agree.
Exactly, Jeff. Exactly.
Yeah.
So like and like, you know, I have the major antitheses, which are Dark Brotherhood leaders. They usually last about 10 to 15 years each. That's about if we go 46, 1, 2, there's been 4. Yeah, about 46 years out of 4. 12 years, 11, 12 years each on an average they've lasted. So we'll see. But that's a good
And
one.
also they have lots of underlings and henchmen and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Meaning a major villain,
Cannon
they
fodder.
yeah, that lots of them, yes. And often in my games, it's not the major villain that is the most powerful mechanically. They often have their bodyguards around them that are
Yeah,
way tougher than they are. They are there because they make the decisions and they take responsibility, so to speak. They are the ones that calling the shots for one reason or the other. But it depends. Some types of villains, of course, it's the leader
no,
who
he's
is the
not.
most combat capable, whatever. But in other instances, it's not. You have someone who's giving the orders, but it's more like in real life. The one giving the orders are usually not the most capable of carrying them out.
He's not Dark Brotherhood. I'm sorry, Rob.
Yeah,
Thunderlips is not Dark Brotherhood. He's just a barbarian.
yeah.
No, no, that's different. I'm talking about Dark Brotherhood leaders. There's been
Hmm.
four.
Yeah.
There's been four over the course of 46 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I think we need to talk about something about balanced encounters, because this is one of the things that
Okay.
in some play styles and editions, uh, to have like a level playing field has been very important. Meaning 5e is written that you should have with CR and stuff, you should have balanced encounters. Organized play was often built around the idea of you bring in characters and then they should have a good hard fight every time, so to speak. So you had adventures that were geared towards that level of play. So certain game types and play styles, the world is there to always be a challenge for the characters and the players, and a kind of a decent challenge. So you don't, and I run way more of a strict sandbox. The world is as it is. So that means that if you go the wrong way when you're first level, you can kind of get screwed very, very quickly. But on the other hand, the good thing with that is that a lot of powerful creatures
Hey,
you
Hager,
don't
thanks.
even register on their scale, so to speak, because you're not a threat to them. So that is, but that is also, there's plus and that plus and minuses with both. If you run something that is pure sandbox, you don't care about game balance or encounter balance at all, that has plus and minuses. And or if you run something that is more in the tradition of making sure that the game is balanced in the sense that you
Thanks,
challenge the
Dennis.
players and the characters. Yeah,
So that balance is an interesting thing
yeah,
in Greyhawk. It is really like um, I look at it as something that it's a challenge to me as a DM
yeah.
to and 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 Ed Greenwood says this all the time. You know, Jay did a good job when I cast almost every single spell I had. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
went the new group Saturday only because Tiffany had to go when I was NPCing her. Every spell from every spell casting class was gone but
Mm-hmm.
one from all
Yeah.
the characters. So I did my job.
Yeah,
So
but also, Jay,
that,
I think you're hinting at a good point here, because if you run a long-term home game, then you don't need to worry about it, because you can have a boring session with not much easy whatever. But if you run streaming games, you run a game one shot at a convention and stuff, of course you need to gear it so there is cool challenges, things happen. You don't have a 6 hour convention game and the players will never be properly challenged, or you will set them up for a TPK 1 hour into a 6 hour session. That will be cruel to the players. So
yeah,
that's
right.
meaning on
Yeah,
my home games, I'm strict, very strict sandbox. There are like one 20% of the, or like one game session out of five is either gruesomely overpowering to the characters, or simply so easy that it was boring. But I try to avoid that in when we do convention games. I try to be, that's why I'd usually script them more as missions. The characters get sent out to do something
right.
specific to challenge them, so to
And once
speak.
again, you can
Yeah,
take a break because of the stream session. You're not streaming, so
yeah.
that's something that yeah you can do. You can
Yeah.
stretch it out a little bit
Yeah.
longer. Say, oh, we'll
So
pick this up
yeah.
in two
So
weeks.
the
I may not
perp
have the
what
same
type of game?
players. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
What type of game you're
yep,
running
yep,
should could also choose with how where you would be on the
yeah.
scale of balanced games or encounters or not, so to speak.
These were druids. Yeah, druids. Yeah, druids are so crazy. But like that's a and that's a good point, Scottish
Yeah.
Jeff as well. A druid is great outdoors, right? A lot of spells are outdoor based, like Call Lightning, right?
Hmm.
Sun Scorch, Entangle. Can't entangle in a dungeon when there's no trees or brush or anything. And then they can be a little more useless in a dungeon setting. So a lot of it is situational too, right? With based on the classes, based on who you have in your group.
Yeah.
So, and that was what with this new group, I tried to cover all bases because if someone, because we have 6 player characters, we're gonna have extras from the community coming in on special guests and 1 NPC. I wanted to make sure everything was covered. And then I said to him, I said, "Oh my gosh!" And Rob nailed it. I was like, "Rob, why did I pick a ranger as the NPC? No one else tracks. There's no tracker in the party." So it's like I was either going to play a bandit or ranger then, and that ranger made more sense. So yeah, do you have a prep doc template you follow for your campaign prep? That's interesting. Uh,
Yes, and also let me go back one question.
yeah, go for it.
Greyhawk Bard had a good question of the what's most helpful. For me,
Yep.
it's the 83 box set, and
Okay.
then it is the Sergeant books, the Marklands, I Use the Evil, Even the Undying, and then the Greyhawk, the Living Greyhawk Gazetteer from 2000. Those are my Bibles, so to speak, because they covered most of the setting. You get most of the history and stuff. And then you have the Scarlet Brotherhood is another one, and so on. So those main kind of source books, so to speak, those are my main go-to for figuring out the stories and stuff. And then I have other stuff is like the Greyhawk Musings, fantastic resource for stuff. And there's also now a grimoire that came to DM's Guild a little while ago that I read through. Also fantastic, good resource for stuff, so to speak. So those are my overview when it comes to getting the lay of the land, and then I try to just
Yeah,
put in details on top of it. Yeah.
yeah, and for me, first off, I'm not going to bash anyone who's putting anything on DM skill, but I'm not taking anything that's not published source official, right?
Oh, I take everything
Yeah.
into
Well,
account,
I
and
will
then
too,
I
but I'm not.
choose
Yeah,
pick.
yeah,
I'm cherry pick from,
right.
of course.
Because
Yes.
my worry is
Yeah.
I take something that someone else wrote and I start incorporating it into my game. It gets into my writings, goes into my Troll Lord thing or whatever, and someone
Oh,
accuses
yeah.
me of stealing
Mm-hmm.
something, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's why I stick to published source. But for me, it's Greyhawk Adventures. That hardback book
Yeah.
has
Oh,
so
yeah.
much
That
flavor
that's
to it.
Oh, yeah, that's
That
one
book,
one thing too.
yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely go. But my big Bibles are those
yeah,
source books that kind of tells
yeah,
about the history, the political
yeah.
situation, and all that stuff.
Got it. Yeah,
And then we have the template for prep. Yeah. First, what I do is that I map the area, and while doing that, I figure out the who lives there in detail and who rules that and what are the settlements and what are the history in the area, so I know these, so I can kind of build from these cool quirks. So I try to build a picture of what is that area now, meaning I'm in 599 right now, the winter between 98 99. So I'm like 10 days into 599 in Shieldlands. So I tried to build a picture of Shieldlands, and that's when now I'm in that early phase when it comes to my next Elven campaign. So I'm starting to think, okay, I want to run Celine and its environment in that environment. I don't have the detail. I don't know exactly where I will place it, but now I'm reading in on Celine history. I tried to build my idea of Celine, its history, its surrounding areas, the Wild Coast, Pomage, Keoland, the Ulek states and stuff, meaning what do I see of this, the Lort Mills and stuff like that. I tried to read in history, make notes, put in dates and stuff that people have found, and then I kind of dwell on that for about a year, put in little notes, I put in ideas like, okay, what if? I put in hypotheticals and I set up
hey,
hypothetical
it's Cashley.
statements. Yeah, and then I test them towards the sources that I read over like a year. And then a few of these hypotheses and ideas might stand against the lore, so to speak. And if they do, then they become the mainstay of the campaign, so to speak. That can be like, okay, what master villains are part of this, and what could be historical facts that was overlooked and hasn't been written down and stuff. And then I take, okay, these are the the things, meaning Vecna, will he play any role in my Celine campaign? That's one of the things I'm thinking about. The Valley of the Mage, that is an area, meaning what do I want to do with it? So now I'm studying that too. And what about the Sus Forest and Pomarsh, and what about Keoland's role in history, and what happened in the Ulic states, and what is the state and at the Celine court, so to speak, and what hidden resources do Celine have, and what are the politics of that court? These are the things that I'm tweaking with. And once I have an idea of that, and it could be like 2, 3 pages of bullet points and ideas, then I start working in, okay, where do I want to have these ideas for a campaign? Then I'm starting to look, okay, where do I want the character to start? And build a history for the characters and a situation for the characters, keeping that big picture that I have figured out over the last year in mind, saying that, okay, that's where I think the campaign might end up with these big powers, whatever. And then I do the opposite. I kind of put that on in the back burner, and then I start saying, okay, now I'm going to invent this little place, and then I want all the local little history, like all that with the tree outside the walls, and I try to weave in elements from that big story and the old story into what happens at that local area. And then I invent enemies, allies, neutral things, what happens. And once I have that, that's when I can then start the campaign. And then I'll let the players loose and we'll see what happens. And then I introduce the other stuff as needed and as the players want, so to speak. And sometimes the players run in a direction I wasn't aware of, and I have to start planning again a bit and stuff. So that's my kind of process, a very sandboxy process, and also very uh, pre-prep heavy, meaning I pre-prep 80% of all the stuff is pre-prepped. Meaning I do the mapping, I do a lot of the development of stuff is pre-prepped. So once the campaign is underway, I don't need to do much prep. Then once it's underway, I can keep doing session after session without too much trouble, so to speak.
I'm looking to give you some examples from
Yep.
Karen. Yeah, it's all good, McBoy. It's cool.
Yep.
So this is a brainstorming session tonight.
Yep. But so the
That's it.
drawbacks with my way of doing it is enormous pre-prep and stuff.
Yeah,
But
well, it's
once you
okay.
have it, you can run rich campaigns for half a decade after that, once it's done. But it takes, I usually put in probably a couple of thousand hours of
Still
pre-prep
here.
before I launch a campaign. That's why I'm now taking my over prepping and made it into my career of mapping and doing stuff like that, developing heraldry symbols and history and stuff, so to speak. But on the other hand, you might want to simply put together a bunch of encounters, come up with some cool stories, put together a few scenes, and just run for it and run with that. That's perfectly viable too. It's you definitely don't need to do what I do. If you love world building and prepping for its own sake, so to speak, then you should do what I do. Then you should start thinking about it. But if you don't love
Here we
prep
go.
for its own sake,
All right.
don't go this deep, so to speak.
Well, you get
Yeah.
to go deep. People like to go deep.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, Karen, here. This is the second Hints of the Past. So I tied in a lot of hateful war stuff with what
Yeah.
was going on with Courtney, Coco Bunny at the time's character, Faunelin, whose mother was actually one of the um, allies of Prince Tresseren, who they all died, right? So
Yeah.
I was setting up. They were going. She was going, and the group was going in the past, and we're looking for all these clues. So I have Elvish. I see the sword wraith, and you're talking about. So I've never used them in Stark Mounts. I've used sword wraiths are one of my favorite monsters of all time in Greyhawk. That and the drowned ones are unique Greyhawk monsters. So I've adjusted it so that a sword wraith is a type of undead, free willed, right? Undead. You're not going to really turn them. unless you have a real high roll. And there, look at all the build paint jobs out here. So for these,
Yep.
and there's a demon in the middle here, and they're all sword rate equivalents right here. That's what I would do. So if you're using them in the struck mounds, that's fine. But I would use them wherever you want to use a very powerful undead that died tragically. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Don't go with the normal stuff. Don't go, oh, they're all specters, or make sword wraiths powerful in Greyhawk. They should be, because
Yeah.
they're a unique Greyhawk monster. Same thing with drowned ones. Anytime I'm out in the water scenario, those drowned ones are coming. And those drowned ones are unturnable because they're self-will binding the roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're good too. So just note, and they're all built from Greyhawk Adventures originally, and that's where you can, in
Yep.
second edition,
Yep.
you can find them. But yeah,
And
so that's
now, Jay, I think when I got the good question from Greyhawk Bard and
yeah,
stuff, we should talk about the tools we use to keep track. You can talk about your binders and how you
yeah,
put together the
yeah.
information and stuff,
Mhm.
and we should talk about that one other Gabbin too, because I think this is
Yeah, it's a good
how
idea.
we manage these information and how we keep track of things over time.
Yeah,
Meaning, you played for for 4 decades, and I've run at least my campaign for like 2 decades now, at least. And we keep track of things.
here's
And
my
yeah,
problem with
yeah,
adventures. This is
yeah,
1/10 of my pile of
yeah,
completely done notebooks.
yeah. And yeah, Greyhawk Bard, that would definitely be part. I will
So
start a series of blog posts and then put them together in the compendium
that's cool.
eventually. Blog posts on
Yeah.
campaign planning. I think that's a great idea. I should definitely do
So
it. Yeah.
that just gives you an idea of the level
Mm-hmm.
that when you
Yeah.
brought up them, I'm like, well, that's a perfect creature that I have done
Mm-hmm.
major additions to.
Yeah,
Managing
and
oodles and
Sparky,
NPCs.
I'm with you. Obsidian has become my mainstay for my campaign playing. It's a fantastic tool, so
Yeah.
I can highly recommend it. So yeah,
Mine's all in notebooks.
yeah, exactly. There's so many different ways of doing this, and it's
Yeah,
your taste and your game style and what
yeah,
information you need to collect and cherish and
yeah.
so on and so forth. That depends on your
So,
play style and
so
stuff. So yeah.
about when Microsoft Access was a big program, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Oh
a
yeah, I
database
used that
manager?
back in the day. I still have the Access database. I put all that information. It's still sitting on my hard drive. So yeah,
Tim's dad, John, who played regularly back when he was much more healthy, said, "Give me all these spells. I'm going to put them in the database." And I
yeah,
said, "John, I don't think you'll ever finish it because we have thousands, right?"
yeah.
And so
Uh,
he got through all the druids, and he's like, "Jay, this is Jay." It's like the druids took him months.
yeah.
So we probably, some of
Jay,
you just like,
I'm going to show my age here too. So I have binders too.
yeah,
I made these binders back in the day. I have 5 of
yeah,
these binders that are full of
yeah.
stuff, so to speak. Those
So
are my stuff. I have 5 of these that are these were made in from the late 80s up until about 2004 or something like that. I used paper still, and they are full of little maps and sketches and stuff like that, notes and so on. So yeah, and
I
each
don't
of
have
these
time, Tom. I just don't have time to
yeah,
redo
yeah,
it.
each of these binders are different areas and stuff like that. So yeah. So and I made these on my old inkjet and put them
That's
together
good.
and have Atlas and the house rules, and then I have another one with
He was
NPCs,
Glenn.
villains, and stuff like that. So yeah,
So
but
this
yeah.
is Classes and Races. It's the main book. You can see it's been
Mm-hmm.
taped multiple times. It's actually the
Yep.
colors change every 10 years roughly.
Yep.
Here is my base player character specialty priest book. I
Mm-hmm.
needed this because I was
Yep.
doing an experience for both groups.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I
then here,
used Excel. I still use Excel to this day for game development, for developing Hawk Tales.
and this one's Illusionist, Wild Mage, and Shadow
Mm-hmm.
Mage, but it's actually more than that. And here's also Bard, Song Bard, Jester. It's all in here.
Yep.
All by tabs in here, and I have 21 of these total.
Yep. Yeah, I have
Downstairs.
5 of the big
21
binders, and
binders.
then I have a little bit, yeah, few.
Yeah.
So that, but now I've taken all that information and put it in Obsidian. So I've
Not
scanned
happening.
it and put it in there, so it's digitized.
Yeah. For me,
So,
it's
but I
not
still
happening
have
that
them.
way.
It's still good to have them. I still have them. They moved around with me, and so they traveled to places and stuff. So yeah,
Jeff said he'd be on before we were done off the air. We'll see. So
yeah,
he kept track of Westernford and his spreadsheet. He did. He did. I have them all. We have it all. We
yeah.
have all the changes. We have
Oh
all
yeah.
those
hmm
changes, Dale.
And
Yeah.
we had a lot of printouts.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have the Excel, the actual files because we didn't get the
Right.
computer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
which
we
I
have the
totally
sheets themselves,
understand.
and someone can re-enter them.
Yeah, we have a lot of printouts
Yeah.
from a lot of the
Right.
but yeah,
Yeah. It's all good. Everyone has a little different way of doing it.
yep.
You know, my problem will come when I lose my mind. And my son's like, "What does that mean?" And I'll be like,
Yeah,
so then that'll be a
yeah.
problem. So
And it's an art form and a craft to put together
it
and
is.
manage a campaign more than science, so to speak. So there is no right way of doing it. It's because I think one of the key bits when doing this is that you need to do it in a way that keeps you inspired to want to do more. You need to do it in a way that you find it fun. If you're a person that loves to do stats and work with
Comes
math or
Jeff.
whatever, then put together stat blocks and work with encounter mechanics and stuff.
What's up,
Or
Jeff Moore? Grim
hello,
Sparkle, what's up?
Hello, don't let me interrupt Anna.
it's
Anna's
okay.
speaking.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm just going to add, but also if you're a crafty person, then create cool handouts and little cool notes and illustrations or whatever it is. Meaning, I love my maps, so I do the maps because that inspires me and it helps me do so. So prep in a way that helps you to run better game and makes you because it's there to inspire you to want to do more of it in whatever shape form you want to do. If you come up with cool encounter stories, great villain arcs of history or whatever it is, monster types or whatever. Yeah.
Wow, I wish I knew anything about that.
Yes, you
It's
do.
fun.
You've done cool stuff. Awesome stuff.
That
Yeah.
has for sure. My
I,
campaign, my current, oh,
Yeah.
it's an open table West Marches game, very different ballpark to the consistent campaign group in some ways. That
hmm
Nats, I'm West Marches, West all the way. I mean,
Yeah.
I got a two-parter where there's multiple players that won't be in the first part, and there's going to be other players on the
Yeah.
second part Thursday and
hmm
Saturday because it's
Yeah.
just reality. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've always
I'm
been West
trying to
Marches.
develop my sandbox into a kind of West Marches style
Yeah.
that suits me, so to speak. So I'm trying to accomplish that
And not to
in
be a
some way. Yeah.
jerk or a dick, but it shouldn't be
what?
called West Marches. It should be
Why
called
not?
something. It should be called
Yeah.
something right here. Okay.
Yeah.
West Marches is 15 years ago. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
been doing this
Hmm.
for 40 some years. I'm sorry to
Oh,
be
yeah.
arrogant, but yeah,
No,
it's
but
yeah.
yeah. But now I
We have
guess
people
it's the
jumping in and
term we
out.
stuck with, so to
It's
speak, for
stuck with
one
it.
reason or the yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So
On the I didn't hear that I heard the term first time like 8, 9 years ago. I don't think I've heard it
yeah,
before
something
then.
like
So
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So real quick before give Jeff the floor here. So back to that picture. So this was Fornalin's mother Amnestria, right? And so they were searching and they finally found her spear, which was lost during the Hateful Wars. And this is all that tie-in of all creating history that doesn't ruin published source is another
Hmm.
great edit. And kind of Jeff's doing that with his thing in 10.
It's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
Right.
Mhm.
So, and that's what we're going to be doing with the Melf book. We're going to be creating all this stuff that happened in the 570s that no one heard about before that happened won't affect anything that's written now and from the ashes or whatever, because we won't go there. So, but yeah, so this is it. And actually, Bill the Master Crafter painted me up her mini because she got played and when we did the first 24-hour thing when Tim and I were passed out almost. And Tresaren, Prince Tresaren. I have those miniatures. So and now Korg's character I think has the spear because she gave it because she wasn't using it, so she gave it to his fighter monk. Yeah. So Amnestria's spear. So there you go. So Jeff,
Yeah.
we've been all over the place with this. We're talking about
Yeah.
scalable weapons, intelligent weapons.
Oh, like chicken?
villains. Yeah, like
Yes, that
chicken.
too.
We already did
Mhm.
talk about chicken. We talked about chicken. Yeah.
I
How
think there was
Tim,
the word chicken was mentioned.
yeah,
Yes.
how
Yeah.
how chicken ran with it. Tim ran with it, and
Yeah.
his barbarian. It's a +4 weapon.
He RP'd that well.
Yeah, he did a really good job with it.
Mhm.
And you did a really good job with it, getting it hypnotized with your gnome. So
I know.
good Kirby. Yeah, that was perfect. You know what? I'll see if I can bring it up without crashing the stream. But Jeff actually painted a mini of Kirby.
It got me hooked. Damn it!
I know. I'm an awful.
Bringing me
person.
back in.
I am an awful person here. Oh my gosh. You didn't put it in Discord. No. All right.
Oh,
That's okay. You put it. No. That's all right. That's all right. It's fine. I just looked in the wrong place. All right. So give us an idea of something that you've done that's really been detailed that, even if it's 10 or whatever, that.
gee,
We
I
already
don't
brought
know.
up Lareth. I brought up Lareth. That's where you should go.
Lareth the hottie.
Yes. Yeah, please.
He's just finishing a boy band. All right, so detail. I'll dovetail off of what you said, which is it really does help if you don't come into conflict and one up existing lore. That shows respect to the community as well as to world building. And I know for me, 2 areas. Obviously, Duchy of 10 was kind of the centerpiece for where my campaign was happening. So I wanted to basically branch off and say, okay, in the prime universe, if you will, it goes this way, and here's where some things deviate, and that's why it's different. But for things like the Urflan, I wrote a history, and one of the things with the Urflan was Vecna and Kos. You might have heard of them. And no, it's not the halfling Kos. This guy's...
Jeff got Sam.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
That was awesome.
Absolutely not. I heard you say that and I went, what? No. But what I did was I did research into, okay, what has been said about this villain? And I had some ideas before I did the research. And I ran it against a couple of things to just check and say, is this coming into conflict? And the answer was no. So by doing that, it gives you free reign to say, okay, as long as you're not changing the history or saying, well, I'm going to do it this way, you're building on that, and that makes it better for everybody. I do a lot of checking in on like Anna's stuff because I want it to be authentic. I look at different place names, different structures. I just saw, Anna, the email you sent out about Nyrond, and I got to get a hold of that guy because down the road, that's going to be a thing. And I love the... I
saw Michael on Valmoku on earlier.
Yeah.
The crests and the brains, it's escaping me. But I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to talk about that because... doing the research on that is important. Urflan was one thing, giving a history and a mystery to it. Wanted it to be eerie. Other ones really just territories and like villages and things like that. How does things work? And it kind of is like when Ed Greenwood said, "Where does the poo go?" I'm sure he'll be thrilled that of all the things that Ed said, it's like you remember that.
Yeah.
But it really comes down to practically. How do things work? Now, I realize we're working in a world of magic, but you want to have some credibility, some sense of familiarity, and when you're building that world and that detail, that it fits. And I know, Anna, you've even said, like, the stuff that I've worked on, it just tends to fit and make sense, and that's really important to me for whatever reason. So going into those details, doing that research is real important.
Are you on DM's Guild as Grim Sparkle? How are you on there?
Yeah, Grim Sparkle, Jeff Moore.
There you go. So, you got that, McLeod? I think you'd be great running this, McLeod, on Sparkle Mandy's channel. I think that'd be awesome running this after what you're done. Yeah, that would be great. So it's long. Yep. I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
No. So adding that detail gives you flexibility, and again, it depends also on. If you're running a sandbox, and this is where I went to Jay, because when I was first starting out, and it's been a year, believe it or not, it's been 1 year. And one of the things that I asked Jay was, it's like, do you do sandbox or do you story mode? And Jay was pretty straightforward. He says, look, doing what I do, it's almost impossible to do sandbox when you're streaming. When you're doing a campaign with other people, you have more flexibility. But I took that to heart and went, okay. And where that ties in with adding detail is, you don't want to write 50 pages of stuff that nobody looks at. but it does come in handy to have enough detail that if the players turn left or want to do something on the fly, you can roll with it as a DM. And you don't have to have every single detail, every NPC down, but at least enough to be like, go like this. A lot of the stuff that I'll write now, I'll assume there might be a side quest. Like right now, I'm working on a Nepalese-inspired Baklunish monastery settlement where it's a village of 400 or 500 people, and there's stuff to do. And so I put little teasers in and amongst stuff of this could be a side quest, this could be a favor, this could be something you could do for these people, to give the DM some options that it's not just go in, settle at the tavern, and then go to the dungeon. So that's kind of how I've approached it.
Yeah, it's like try to play it to prep one layer deeper than the players ask for.
Yeah.
So, but it's hard to do that, get it right. But that's my goal, is to have one more detailed level than what they ask for, so to speak. So I'm prepping for one more. So and I tried to in the beginning. I was overwhelming the players with long rants of history and stuff. Now I don't do it. I do that for my own enjoyment. And but then when the players ask for it, then I can just keep feeding them little nuggets, and they can ask for more nuggets. And like you have a character who's a paladin or someone in the area that ought to know about the temple and how it works, and they see a statue in there, and I can tell, well, heard rumors about this temple and when it was built and who built it and blah blah and stuff like that. So
that's
exactly
that's the key to having NPCs being able to engage with the PCs all the time.
Yep.
Especially in Greyhawk, because you want them to feel part of the rich setting that it is. So like for example, I have Jem as a seeker. There's a secret tower now in Altamira, so like I've taken that aspect from Gary Julian's writings on that, and all. Just you want to incorporate that richness of the campaign in.
Yeah, and one additional that's a good point, Jay. But one additional point that was that in my playstyle, I don't punish the player for not remembering and stuff.
No,
so
absolutely.
if the player plays a character who's knowledge about this, I will tell the player and I will encourage the player, ask me what your character knows, and then I will tell your character knows this. And then it's up to the player to then play along with it. And then the next session was like, oh, my character knew something about this, but I forgot about what was that. And then I can tell it again, so to speak. So I don't want to force my player. I want my players to have fun with the stuff they can play, like a material they can play with. I don't want to force them to remember stuff, so to speak. That's not what my game. It's not a lecturing or like you need to remember this much lore to be in Anna's game. No.
I'll tell you a fun one based off of that. So with the Earthland, they're always mysterious. Nobody basically knows anything. You have to really be probing the scholarly circles and dusty halls to find anything.
Yep.
And we were playing at Concoction, and I had a group of 3 folks, and there was an Earthland relic, and somebody's like, well, I want to roll for Arcana. I'm like, okay, you're not going to get it, but go ahead. Like in my head, I'm like, you're not going to get it. Rolls a natural 20.
Ooh, there you go.
And I'm like, all right, you know what? Going to give you a little tidbit. And so I gave them a little taste of it, and I could see their eyes get all lit up like, whoa, what is this? Like, tip of an iceberg that could lead them off into other things. So just sometimes those little breadcrumbs really do make the adventure for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't tell the players everything in one go.
Yeah.
Make a small little one and have them ask for follow-up questions. And as long as they ask for follow-up questions, you keep telling them. And then when it's the most fun, you say, but now this is all your character remembers right now, because this now X, Y, or Z happens.
Do you pass notes to your players, or have ways to whisper to one so it's like kind of like this is what you know, and everybody else is kind of looking like, what's going on?
At times I do. I copy things out of Obsidian and just say, this is it. And sometimes I email and say, your character know this, so to speak. So you can have that in your mind if you want to. And this is what you can recall.
I love the interplay when they look at you as the DM and go, well, what am I supposed to do? This is whatever you want. You can keep all that to yourself. You can share what you want. You can even twist it. And then watching what they do with it. And that's always fun too.
Yeah, because that's what your prep should be. Cool material for your players to play with, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's it with the 5th adventure in here. So
Yeah,
right,
the Lost City of Zanat Arat.
yeah, that's
So that'll be coming soon. That's a rewrite of the Lost City.
which is
It's
cool.
gonna, yeah.
And the great thing is this is the stuff you can do on DM's Guild.
Yeah.
Because you're getting a piece of it, and you could rewrite.
The big deal with that is it's the other part of it. It's actually not a rewrite, to be honest. It's actually the other part of the module that's missing.
Right.
Because you get to the end and it's like, oh yeah, and there's this really cool city, and here's a isometric view of it. Have fun. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
So you just
and it's a casualty. That's a great point, and that's why I emphasize that I think that prepping and lore and stuff is primarily for me to have fun. That's the inspiration for me to do the game and run the game and stuff. And that then you sprinkle that in as much as you see fit and the players ask for, so to speak. That's but it's hard. It took me decades to learn that. I bored my players to death for a long time before I kind of settled down and now I have my patrons to bore them to death with lore and stuff. So
so it's a casualty. You're saying your players are not into lore as much as the art of the kill, which is okay. So a lot of my original players are that way.
I think that's more normal among players. That if you're a player, you kind of like that part. But it's also a little bit of play style. Meaning players also have play styles, just like DMs have, and there needs to be at least a reasonable overlap between how the DM wants to run the game and how the players want to play it. So yeah.
I want the people that are playing in my games to know that like Jeff said, we want to respect all the original lore that was put in, but create your own stories within it, which is easy to do. And that's why I go a little crazy sometimes when I hear what future people, and I'm not picking on anyone. When I hear how many people live in Greyhawk slaughtered throughout the campaign, but thank God that I don't consider that official lore. Right. So like Sergeant killed off a lot of characters that I had a love fest with. I just didn't have them die in my game. No big deal. It's not the end of the world. But like, that's why I when someone does something and really throws a wrench into things, it took me 10 years to figure out how I'm going to implement the Greyhawk Wars into my campaign. I'm holding this off. It's not the right time. Because we had just done a war with the Shieldlands and the frickin' Bandit Kingdoms. And literally a week later, the From the Ashes came out. I'm like, what the hell? The Shieldlanders were successful. Now they're all gone. I was like, no, I can't do it right now. So we had to wait. We waited.
But there's also another option you can use, meaning you can build from the ground up, either complete whole setting and you are in control. There's no written lore, no canon, no published stuff to build on. That's one option. But you can even do it within Greyhawk, meaning the world is big. You can go out and invent something outside of the Flannies and say, well, this is the ancient history here for whatever reason that suits you, that is away from the Flannies, and then no one can tell you you're doing it wrong, so to speak. And that way you can have all the lore you can go west of the Backlunish, you can go south, you can go, meaning the planet is huge. There's an enormous amount of real estate you can play with there, where you can simply just say, this million square miles I'm going to do this with. And awesome, name it, come up with whatever, tie it into Greyhawk setting if you want to, or run it more or less completely independent if you want to. Yeah.
There's enough. I mean, if you look at the Darlene map, 10 is not a big area.
No.
But when I zeroed in on it and started fleshing it out, it's vast.
Yes.
I mean, and so you take that 24 hexes, and you look at a place like Nyrond or up to the northern coast.
5 times the size of it.
I mean, 10 is like maybe not as big as Texas, but not far from it. It's like Yeah.
you've got all that room to basically, okay, well, the players are going to focus here. So yeah,
Yep.
it could be background events for, terrible things happening, but
Yep.
just like in real life, there are wars going on and people weren't on the front lines, but it
Mhm.
was news. It was, oh, this is affecting some things, and you can
Yep.
certainly roll that into your campaign without completely having it oppress, everything that
Yep.
you're trying to do.
Hence, Jeff, why I've kind of stopped because they wanted me to hold off until another major announcer comes out. Why I haven't gone on EN World lately and said exactly that. This Melf guide is not going to rewrite anything. It's going to
Hmm.
be, and I said this, Darlene's map has nothing on it. There's some towns and cities and stuff, but there is, so
Yeah,
much emptiness in the Greyhawk. So
yeah,
especially if you're starting in 570 or 569, Battle of
yeah,
Emerald Meadows or whatever, you got this whole blank slate for your
yeah. I mean,
game. Yeah,
there's so much, and there's places that are mentioned that are ancillary. Steric,
yep,
Keeland,
yep.
Mhm.
Furiondi. Those are huge, vast areas. That's like having Europe at your disposal and saying,
Yeah,
"Go for it."
yeah, absolutely. So, and that's a great thing about the map and the early days. Now, as you get more and more into future stuff, there's stuff written up, but anything that we do early on, and that's why your
Hmm.
10 thing is genius doing it. It's not affecting any pre-lore
It
at
gives
all.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to come across as arrogant because I'm
Oh,
new
you sound like me
coming
now.
back, but
Yeah,
it's really like trying to reignite. There's a vast community of dormant Greyhawk seekers out
absolutely.
there who
Yep.
want more content. Obviously, that's being addressed slowly but steadily. But there's a lot of different ways to take it if people are soured on, well, okay, this happened, but it's leaving me wanting a different approach. You have that, and it can lay side by side. There are plenty of different ways that can be factored in, even to become official canon. Uh, but yeah, that's the approach I took. Was I wanted to make sure that, okay, I'm going to take it in a little different direction. No disrespect to the writers who were at the time, this is what they thought was best. But
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
for my
and that's
players, it's yeah,
that's the
it's
great thing though. But because all of us here look at, well, do I really want to, you know, an example? Do I really want to take Celine and raise it in 572? No, I don't want to do it, right? But there's people attacking it. Part of our game back then, the Dark Brotherhood's coming through the Sus and all, right?
they burned the Celine.
Well, there was a war. It was called the Battle of Sorrowful Death, right? And that's why
Wow.
there's that
That's
that.
cool. You named the battles
Oh
like
yeah,
that. That is
absolutely. It
awesome.
was
That
one of
is
the earliest things
great.
we ever did, and that
Yep.
is why
Mhm.
there's an or. That's
You
why.
know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's it's funny because okay, this is
yeah.
stuff that was written when 90s.
No, 80s for me.
Even worse. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. This is done.
so
I did it. Listen, that battle occurred before I started playing D&D with you.
did they have a big tree that they burned? Wink, 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 nudge, nudge. You know
No,
what
it
I
was
mean?
not. Had nothing to do with scouring of the Shire.
No, it
Oh,
wasn't Scouring of the Shire. It was World
oh,
of Warcraft. You just see
oh,
so much. See so much stuff get recycled
oh
in
yeah,
Oh
new
yeah.
content. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh really?
yeah. True, true, true. But like that happened a long, long time ago,
Yeah.
and only Walt and Tim were involved as far as any of the other of my players because it was 1981, right? So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah. Oh my God, it was one of the first things that happened, and that set the whole. That set
Kill
the
your
whole.
elves.
That's
Mhm.
why. Well, that's why there's so many. I was trying to figure out why they're humans and half elves in Selene when it's a Grey Elven realm. So that
Yeah.
justified it because now their population's so low. They have to mate with it. That's why
Yeah.
Gazumba's a half elf, Hawk's a half elf. There's a lot of half elves. They're half gray elf, and that was my justification for it. But that was the big fight,
Hmm.
the battle that we had. It's right on my timeline, my own unique Greyhawk timeline, and that's why Selene allied with the Order of Ulick when it got formed to help with defense.
Hmm.
It was just it all making sense in my game, and it didn't affect canon because no one was doing anything here. No one's
Huh.
doing anything. That's why I go nuts when I see the Principality of Ulick down here of all these forts here. And, oh yeah, we just let the humanoids walk in on the other side. You know, it's just like, come on. The Dwarves wouldn't allow that, right? Oh, you can cross the river and take over half of the Principality of Ulick. That shit drives me crazy. The lack of common sense. Sorry, Anna. It's not you didn't
It's
No,
do
but
anything.
yeah.
It was living Greyhawk, right? Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah.
it's
But I get it why Living Greyhawk did what they did, because an
You needed
organized campaign,
challenges. I understand.
exactly,
Yeah.
an organized campaign
I
puts
understand.
certain
Hi, Manny.
requirements, so to speak.
I'm going off
So
on a
that, yeah,
soapbox.
yeah.
We're having fun with this discussion. We're having a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of fun with this
Yeah,
discussion
so
tonight.
so I didn't
Yeah.
like it, but
Yeah.
I understand why they
Yeah.
did, because first of all, when you have thousands of players who demand to have something to play, and they also want to be able to play a halfling or an elf or a half orc or whatever it was, everything that was
No, I
legally
understand that
allowed.
100%.
Yeah.
You know,
So that puts
right,
the
right.
and also when and that demand of having adventures every week for years in every area, that means that a lot of people need to
You need
make
to
them.
have
And
you need to have content. You need to keep them
yeah,
entertained.
exactly.
I
And
understand that
some people
100%.
were really good at
Thank God
making
it's
that
not official
content,
lore.
and others were not
Yeah.
so skilled, and they just made something on Tuesday that needed to be
Yeah,
used on Friday.
like
Yeah.
a conveyor belt above Verberblanc.
Yeah, exactly. That was like, yeah. So some areas got, and yeah.
Yeah,
So it
crazy
was
stuff.
all over the place. Yeah.
But like that, and when we're talking about detail, that is where I believe that the number one drawback of Gary leaving was there's a disconnect between what Gary wrote, what Sargent wrote, what Roger Moore wrote, what
Yes.
Eric
yeah.
Mona wrote,
They
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
and you
talk
can
to each
see
other.
it just like in Star Wars novels,
Yeah.
right?
But yeah, meaning Greyhawk has been published for half a century.
I
So of
understand that.
course it's been through three generations of authors now, at least, maybe four even.
Yeah.
So
But
that
my Greyhawk has one author
yeah.
in that time because I started in 1980. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm
But
saying? I'm not saying I'm
yeah.
better than them. But what I'm saying is my campaign has been written by me with all the stuff going on, whereas the other campaigns, boom, 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 all these different viewpoints. Like
Yeah.
it still drives me crazy. You know, another thing that drives me
Yeah.
crazy. You
But
freak
I
the
also
Thrommel thing to this day. I'll never get over. So
but
I'll never get
I
over it.
also
Yeah.
I also see it as that's part of Greyhawk's strength. There have been so many chefs and authors as part of this, so you can kind of pick. There's always cool things
Hey,
you
what's up,
like,
Curtis?
and yeah, so I can cherry pick from that. So yeah.
You can, of course, absolutely, Curtis. I think I
Yeah.
got you in. I got one of the two
Hello,
shout outs
Curtis.
done.
Yeah.
Curtis is playing on Thursday night this week, which is crazy. I think it's that one. Yes, in the two-parter. Boing. Look at that group. Yes. You're gonna have some thinking here, maybe. Korg, I spelled Korg the Mighty wrong. Yeah. So Mandy's in there. That is wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's the wrong one. That's wrong. Oh, you know what? I never. There it is. There it is. It's under All Star. I hit the wrong one. There you go. Assistant to Glipdell. Myriad, show me the dice, Cherry Blossom, Curtis, and Phantom. There, I hit the wrong one. So yeah, it's good. It's you know, just what I would do for your guys is you create items from scratch, and they find something wherever you are. Say you're in I don't know where you are in your game. Say you're in the Great Kingdom or something, and you find this armor, and it is a Knights Protectorate armor. It's emblazoned with the all the suns on it, and it has all these special abilities. And then that's in history, right? And then you go. That's how you get them enticed into history and the gear they're getting. I do that a lot in my game, so that's a suggestion. So yep, see it. It's a zombie lich maybe. That's funny. So that's okay. It's gonna get fixed in the second melt book. Yeah, a plain old zombie. Yeah, it's funny. Long thing. All right. So, what questions? Oh, and Jeff, do you have any other commentary on this? I know you came in late and all, and we're having some fun here. It was a good discussion.
No,
Definitely
just like what Anna kind of summarized it as, try to go one level deeper, just to
Yep.
anticipate and give yourself a little bit of room to roll with things in case you want to mix it up.
Absolutely, 100%. And there's all sorts of ways to create this detail, and that was the key word for this. But like, don't do what I did. Don't kill a published source. If you're going to kill off a published source character, make sure it's memorable. That's one of the things I always say.
Yeah, it definitely has to be a build-up. It has to make sense as to, I mean, big characters are not invulnerable, but they didn't get big because they were stupid. Wizards can be tricked. Players can, or NPCs can be lured by their greed or a need. It's basic plot work, and you want to try to respect that. That if you're going to take that liberty, then make it like Jay said, make it memorable, make it into an arc, make it an epic point where maybe the players actually have some degree of agency, but they just couldn't get them, couldn't save them.
Damn. What is this picture you just sent me? Is that a game you did, or is that like when you were doing stuff in the Principality?
Once upon a time, many years ago, when Walt actually reached out and said, "Hey, Jay's doing this Twitch TV show," and I got inspired to do a Ulick D&D campaign on the East Side, and so I was writing up where the Pomarge. Don't get me started on that. I was doing a thing stirring up the Pomarge, and so I was laying out the background, like when you were saying about, there's all these forts and just got steamrollered, and it's like, no. That was a campaign where you had two sets of players. One set of players were the dwarves and the Ulick folks, and the others were orcs. And both of them progress playing the same.
Look,
they're playing the same stuff, and eventually they fight. They get to the final battle. So I was doing it like military campaigns because I've read a lot of World War II military journals and after action reports, and so it's like, all right, well, what's the disposition of forces? How many things do they got?
That's funny.
What makes sense? What could be a weak spot that could be exploited? And just the groundwork was that the players are thrust in the middle of this giant face-off. And so there is an opportunity for them to tip the tide of battle. And so the same thing happens for the orcs, for the bad guys. So you could be, orc, hobgoblin, whatever. And the story is the same for them as well. Of there's a weak point, we might be able to exploit it, and you start to slowly become aware of the other party until you have this ultimate face-off. So that's what that was. But I was thinking of you. Yeah, it's like on the east side. And,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it a lot, man.
Yeah, I saw that other thing that came up that was the accidental leak, and I'm like, oh, really? It's like, I'm committed to Greyhawk now.
It's all good. Yeah, with the amount. Look, Outpost 1, White Tower, Winchester's Bulwark, Warmonger's Tower, Outpost 2, Wales Castle, all along. Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's my campaign. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like just, I can just move forces through and people are going to go, okay. It's like there's terrain, there's choke points. It wouldn't just be steamrollered.
No, that's it. Dwarves are proud. So, but that's all right. It's just the way. Yeah, greed and need are great motivation NPCs. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but all righty. Any questions from the audience here? Look at that. We rolled through this. I knew this was going to go quick.
Yeah.
I know it's going to go quick. Because remember, Anna won't be here Wednesday or Sunday next week. This week upcoming. She'll be at Gen Con with some of you.
Yeah.
Be cool. Not me. I went once, one and done. 2019 was the only time I ever went.
Oh, you were the only time? I thought you had.
Well, I went to Gen Con the East when it was at Widener College in 1982.
Oh God!
And that's where I met Gary Gygax.
Yeah, for a while they had Gen Con in various places. There were the Gen Con East, Gen Con West. I think it was a Gen Con UK even once or twice.
I have a signature on one thing, and I got to find it. It's on a Dragon magazine. I think it's Dragon 60.
Cool.
The Elven Dragon art.
Awesome.
I think it's either that one or the Archer one. One of the two I took.
Yeah.
And that was the only time ever. I was so.
Thank you, Wolf Alone. Thank you. I hope so. Yeah, that I will have fun.
It'll be good. It'll be good for her. So, Gen Con South was in like 1980. Wow, did you go there, Draxter? Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, I did not go to a lot of cons back then, but I was like, I said I forget who took me. Was it my mother?
Well, that's awesome, Jeff. I will be at Game Hole too. So, yep.
Game Hole is going to be a good one.
Yep.
That's the direction I'm taking. Players' work is a strike team to sabotage things behind enemy lines. Very cool. And that's whoops.
My sound.
You got me back? Yeah, the sound went off.
Yep, there you go.
That's
Yep.
the great thing about this discussion is there's no right or wrong way to do any of this. Your game is your game, and no one's going to tell you. No one's ever going to tell you otherwise that you can't do what you got to do in your game. So if you have that's you want to kill off IUs, go for it. If that works in your game, a lot of people want to get rid of them anyway, right? It's just it's just too much. For me, I'm Vecna'd out. I've had enough of Vecna. I've had enough of Vecna. I've had enough of. Even though I used him at Fortress Elendar, I've really had enough of Zeech. I was poking fun of myself as he was the guy. I've had just because of the commentary. Just I had enough of Igwolf. I'm Igwolfed out too much. They're everywhere. So.
The other thing is not to be afraid, and this is less at the gaming community, more at the higher ups. But it's like, don't be afraid to end a villain. Yeah. You want to, because when you end a villain, you create a power vacuum and you make room for new things. And one of the things, and I won't name IPs, but they protect and they drag out these characters and these stories, and they just keep going and going. No, I'm not. I'm actually completely unfamiliar with Dragonlance, and I had the privilege of I got the privilege of bragging to somebody like, "Oh yeah, well, the Dragonlance modules." I said, "Yeah, I played with Ed Greenwood last week," and they're like, "Oh my God, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because I got a friend Jay, and I was talking up your show, talking up the show." Yeah, Ravalantar finds love.
Who'd you one up? Who'd you one up on that? Oh, that's
what do you mean?
You one up someone like they were talking about.
Well, they were.
That's awesome.
Was I?
Oh my God,
it's been a blurred week. I think. Oh no, I was playing at Paddock 9, and I was talking with a couple people, and this one guy just came over because we were playing Starfleet Battles, and he sat down and we were talking, and he was talking about Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms. I said, "Yeah, well, I play with Ed." And they're like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "There's this guy Jay. He's been in the community 46 years. It's like, and it was at Top Deck. Cool. Top Deck was the other one I was talking about.
I've never been to Top Deck. I got.
It's something. It's like walking into a convention. It's like seriously professional. I'm thinking of going there, but it's World of Warcraft. They are so terrified to end characters that it stops new characters from coming in.
Well, yeah, and you've done like comics for them and stuff too. Right?
Yeah. I've done comics that strangely become part of the next expansion.
Here's the funny thing. Like, for example, the wizard who's Karazhan.
Khadgar. Khadgar.
He's in the movie. It's that guy who played in 310 to Yuma.
Yeah.
He's the wizard in that. Well,
he's an apprentice there.
Right.
He's young.
He gets killed. He gets taken out, and so in the storyline, they should go back to more of that. I agree.
Yeah, but you got to
linear. Kryn. Here's the thing with Kryn, BB. Here's the thing with Kryn. Kryn, the adventures get written or done after the books, which is different from all the other settings. So that is why it's linear. Because then Fizbin's Fizbin's actually Bahamut and Six Skies, blah, 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 right? So it's all good. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I'm not a Kryn guy. I respect it, but I'm not a Kryn guy. So, but yeah, that's why it works that way. But killing off villains opens up very powerful items. How do you handle those if players get them? That is, you do not give. This is a tough one. It's simple. If you use 5th edition, you can say, first off, you get an Unholy Reaver. No one in my party is using it. It's alignment based. You can't wield that bastard sword unless you're freaking evil, right? That removes all of it right there. You have to be. If you're using alignment, it's alignment based.
Yeah.
Put that armor on, and you're going to be cursed by it because you're lawful good putting on evil armor. It's simple.
I run with that in an in-game way, not mechanically, primarily. In-game, meaning if you start stealing items of that importance to the enemy, you're going to get their attention.
Yeah.
And that means that they will come after you. So, if you kill IU's henchman, and that might be one thing, but if you take his resources, oh, he's gonna come for you. Yeah.
Here is the number one. Here's a TPK in my.
You're gonna need the resources.
Yeah, right.
2 times in 46 years I've had a TPK.
Yeah.
The second time, what did the geniuses do the adventure before? They killed and took a Githyankai special silver sword.
Oh
Yep.
no.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What
Oh,
had
no,
of
no,
her just
no.
like, I'm gonna wield this. La, la, la. And they,
Yeah.
and guess what?
Mhm.
Guess what happened?
All of their friends came looking.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that killed. They killed everyone in the party, in the bar.
Yeah.
Everyone in that outpost. It was a party way.
And
So
what have we
Yeah.
learned about greed?
yeah, exactly. So that is
And you can
yeah.
even play in that to your advantage.
Yeah.
That might be some villains who want to present themselves to
Yeah.
get killed just for that purpose.
Absolutely.
Because they want, and because especially cult members and others, it might be the cult's highest goal is to sacrifice themselves, to simply go to the enemy, get them to, and their goal is not to survive the encounter. Their goal is to make sure that their big leader gets to see who its enemies are. So
and
to
it's
speak.
going to be big. It's going to be bloody. So,
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
That cultist goal is to present a really cool enemy, a powerful enemy to its master, and then can say that, look, I made this and I alerted you to the whatever, so to speak. So you can twist this in interesting ways if you want to.
Also, it's not going to be like the movie Jeremiah Johnson, where one Indian at a time came after Robert Redford because that was the way their code worked, right? There's going to be a lot of super high level characters, and they're all going to, maybe they'll fight over it afterwards, but they're going to come and they're going to make an example out of you.
And also use time. Some villains are very reluctant, meaning they think short term, meaning there are like a squirrel on ecstasy. Things need to happen now. Everything needs to be solved instantly. And then there are other villains who simply, well, I can wait until they're old and frail, and then I'll come for them and their kids and their grandkids or whatever later.
That's going to become a t-shirt. Anna. Squirrel on ecstasy.
I'm not going to say where I picked up that, but
that
it was.
Funny.
I can.
That's a great.
It was. That was a political scientist description of the American political system.
No, they're pretty much on.
Yeah, it was the patience of American political system is like a squirrel on steroids. So,
having had a degree in political science, I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah, compared to other political systems that takes a century to even figure out what's a problem. So yeah.
Well,
wonderful.
See, this is what's going to happen with that, Curtis. We'll see when I do the evil group with all the ladies. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They got all these crazy ideas. I mean, but I'm going to have a mentor for them that's going to probably discuss them, or maybe they'll love her. I'm bringing out just for that evil thing. I'm bringing back the dominatrix class, and Viersa, my dominatrix.
Still got to kill that hottie chick.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
But
that's
in
always,
this,
that's what you do.
Yeah, but
this
I think in this,
I'm sorry. They can take the item. And they give it to the Church of Heronius and say, "Take it. We don't want it."
Right.
That's how you get rid of it. You say, "You guys will get street cred with us. We'll do 3 raised dead spells for you if you give us this weapon. And we'll take care of it." That's what you do.
And then the Heronians say that, "Where the hell did you find this?" Then go and dig it down and hide it under it. No.
Tell them don't ask too many questions.
I'm just giving an example of what you can do in your game.
Definitely. Yeah, but what I'm saying, what I want to emphasize, there are certain aspects. One is time, the other one is geography, and the third one is kind of visibility, meaning what you do with the item and where you have it and the time. And certain villains are more sensitive or visual. Some villains, it's all about the spectacle that is visible. That what the real underlying, they don't care. Other villains are they go after reality, not visible. They're difficult to trick. Some villains are easy to trick. You show something shiny and they come running after it.
Right.
And other villains, they will research and they will go after, and some of them are like quick, whatever. Some of them will go and use the scorched earth attack. They will not go after you. They will go after everything you know and hold dear, and so on. So there are many different as a DM, there are many different levers you can use here, and use them wisely and creatively, and also look into the type of villain you want to depict, and use various forms of these levers depending on the type of villain, the type of campaign, meaning is it a one shot, if it's a long-term campaign arc, or whatever it is, so to speak.
Yep. So hopefully everyone enjoyed this. Any final thoughts, Jeff, on this discussion? Thanks for coming on tonight, man.
Yeah.
Just when it comes to adding stuff too, don't forget to find those little side quests and extra details for your characters in their professions. If it's like one thing that I've had a lot of fun developing is a Thieves Guild network. For, rogue comes into town and, hey, looking for some work. There's subtle ways and going to the wrong side of town to find some jobs and maybe carry some favor and, a little bit of side gigs. Clerics, same thing. It does add to the spice of the adventure and the world.
So it's this guy right here. Is that Lareth right here?
That's Lareth.
That's Lareth. So there, third one, Lareth the Beautiful's in there. There you go.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, he's young. He's at the breaking point of his faith right before he goes over to follow Lolth and become a double agent.
Beautiful.
So
love it. And remember this phrase, everyone, the Tim phrase. Someone comes up to you and you're a thief, and they go, "Are you a non-backed entrepreneur?" They know you're a thief. That was it. We're not part of the guild. We're non-backed entrepreneurs. Not in this town, buddy.
Independent consultant.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Jeff, anything special going on with you now? You got any other things shouting out?
No, right now I'm just working on the Lost City. That's what I'm mainly focusing on, and just propping up Starfleet battles at the Paddock 9. I might be starting up a D&D campaign officially at Top Deck and starting First Strand, so we'll see.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
That's great there. Keep us posted on that, man. Absolutely. Yep. And please try and get in one game at least for page 4 for me, so that Mr. Meichner stops bothering me. Oh yeah.
You haven't put your
Tim and Jeff. What's that?
You haven't put your stuff in. I did, so he stopped bugging me.
My stuff's in.
Good. Yep.
I'm just saying Tim and Jeff's aren't.
Yeah. We're collateral damage for Jay. We'll have to help him out.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So here we go. There's nine.
Yeah, you can click on that. I post the link in chat here. So there you.
Yeah.
The top latest article is Mike von Malky Musbarger. He made a bunch of heraldry for his Niron campaign. So he gave me the files a little while ago, and now I've been doing. Created, like, I touched them up in Photoshop. That's all I've done to make them look more real, so to speak. And so they're available in PNG, the original version of that Mike did, and that is more. And then that version is also available as vector graphics. And then there is the realistic version, so to speak, that I created in Photoshop. And they're all down. There's a link, you can download it there. It's available for everybody, so to speak. So that is.
Here they are.
Yeah, and there's a link to I can put Mike has a website. There's a link to his site. He will present a blog post very soon, hopefully within a week or so, more information about this, so to speak, because I don't know the details behind this, but so he will have stories of what these things are, so to speak, and what they're going to. So yeah.
Fantastic.
So thank you to Mike von Malky Mosbarger for this. Yep.
Missing cat. Yeah, there you go. I love these. I love the cants. I love these can't. Beggars can't. Beggars Can't was originally, the first time I ever heard of Beggars Can't was the Free City Girl box set.
Yeah.
Didn't even know they had their own, and that's just cool. It's super cool to me back then. That's more detail that I love. So Anna, what else you got going on?
Going to Gen Con. So I will work during Gen Con. If you're at Gen Con and want to get a hold of me, the easiest is probably go to the Inkwell Ideas. It's booth 150 at the big exhibit hall, so to speak. So I will work for them during the convention. I don't know how many, but a certain amount of hours each day, so to speak. So I will. That's where and if I'm not there, they will can probably tell you when I will be back, so to speak. So that's the easiest. But otherwise, you can, if you're on my Discord, you can message me there too. And then so I will be there. But I will also wander the halls because I have like a dozen people that I will try and find on my time off, so to speak. And I want to get a chance to see Gen Con again. I haven't been there since COVID. So yeah.
It's not like
Wow.
Gary Con where you're like, oh, you're down
No,
the hall.
this is
I'm
a
in the
huge thing.
it's
Yeah,
like
it's literally like I
miles.
clocked it. Yeah, it's like almost 2 miles from one end
Wow.
because there's like there's the exhibit
the arena.
center. Yeah,
And the
and then you
football
have
stadium.
Lucas Oil Stadium, and I think it's about 6 or 7 hotels that are connected to the convention center.
Yeah.
And if you go from Lucas Oil Stadium in one end and the JW Marriott in the other, it's almost 2 miles to walk
Jeez.
indoor from one to the other. And they're like halls and basements and conference rooms and everything from one end to the other. So it's
Yeah,
just like
Jeff, I agree.
it's
too big for me, too.
amazing. Yeah.
Too big for me too. Alrighty, so let me flip back here.
Yeah, the vendor show is the big ticket item
Mm.
at Gen Con, more than other conventions. Yes. And I go there to the exhibit hall is the big draw for me too. There's a heck of a lot of more gaming going on than at any other convention, but comparatively, the exhibit hall is bigger percentage-wise of the whole con than any other con I know of, so to speak. So meaning GaryCon is kind of the opposite. There's so much more gaming going on, and the booths and the exhibit hall is one
Oh, cool, Kai.
of many
awesome.
things. But
Cobalt.
yeah,
Cool. Tell
but the
Wolfgang
gaming
we said
hall
hi.
is yeah.
If you see Wolfgang.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I will definitely try and because Cobalt Press has a booth, so I will definitely try and catch up with Wolfgang again. So yeah.
So.
Oh, that's awesome, Kai Hawkeye. Yes, that's perfect. Yeah.
So back in the days when we had, of Poo-Poo and Kaka, well, there was a third character in that adventure.
Oh, wow.
And his name was Ichabod. And Ichabod was had no stat higher than 11. All right. So he's a human, and he was in that hole of Hawking, Gazumban, Fencing, and Leuven. So when Tim ran his Wizard of It adventure. Well, fast forward years and years, Ichabod is Lord Mayor of this crappy human settlement called Glipdell here in the Principality of Ulick. But they have riches. They struck it rich down with these mines way deep in. But as you go deeper, bad things happen. Right. So I've done a lot of adventures. I did one of my fundraiser events in Glipdell when Eric Mona's second appearance of Venerian Vord was actually he was the advisor to Lord Mayor Ichabod. So there you go. Well, we're gonna go a two-parter as they're on their way back to Glipdell. The groups on Thursday. Assistance to Glipdell Part 1, and there you go. Myriad, Amanda, Gianna, Curtis, and Rob in on this with characters in the 7th, 8th, and 9th level, right? So that Assistant to Glipdell. Some of the characters were in Fortress Elendor. So Garrick is in this. Brett's in it on Saturday. So I don't know if you're available on Thursday or Saturday. You can let me know. I could jump you in on this on part 1 or 2, and then part.
I could probably do it on Zoom.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be in touch.
All right. Yes. Sounds good. And then part 2. Like I said, I am the West Marches king here. So only Myriad and Rob are in both, but Brett's coming in with Aaron. The character that saved Gemma's life, her ass, when she was about to step off that.
Yeah.
And also his character is the one that her new character Nessie is a priestess of Ilmater based off of what Brett's done, and Spuckles Manny's in on there too. I was going to have one more person in this one too from the community. We'll see what we do there, but that's it. It's a 2-part Thursday, Saturday, Thursday night, Saturday morning at 11. Like I said, only 2 players out of all of them are going to be there for the entire thing. But that's kind of the way we run this. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And that'll be Frog Guide Games giveaway on Saturday, and we got Black Oak Dice Set on Thursday night. So we're gonna have some fun with that. Because next week we're going back to the new lower level group again on Saturday. Because Erin's available every other week. So this will be a filler one. Fun times in Glipdell. Oh, and I guarantee you, Rob's playing Durgrim, his dwarf. First off, remember, Durgrim hates Arabella Hot Forge, but he's not going to be anywhere near them. I guarantee you, I'm going to piss him off as much as I can piss him off with Arabella at the very beginning. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to get them all riled up. But that'll be what's going on. And hopefully Malden will be available Wednesday night, guest hosting with me on a Legends and Lore with no Anna. And, so there you go. We're gonna have some fun. Let's do the giveaways and see who wins. First winner will get
Alright.
this, unless you're out of the country or whatever, and I'll give you a Chola gift certificate.
Hmm.
Actually, if you win first, you'll give you two $10 ones to offset the cost on these. But you got the Arduin card set from their campaign setting, and the great from CMYCon. This is the Conan sword replica. All right.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. So, thanks, Keith. Thanks. I owe you, Keith. I owe you the connection. I'll get with Michael Z probably tomorrow. We'll get you your downloads and stuff for your win on Saturday. Got you still. So it's pretty cool. Now, these are character is in with it. It's really neat. It's really cool. So here we go. Let's see who wins, and then we're gonna raid into Sparkles Mandy. Put her well over 100. Hopefully 100 for a little bit. All right, let me go to. Oh gosh, they move stuff all around here. Did they change it again on me? Oh my gosh. Cloudbot giveaways. There we go. All right. Gonna close this out. Let's see who wins. First winner tonight. DM John D. Grats.
All right.
Grats, John. So it's second winner. Kern 3. Kern, you will get a Chola Game gift certificate. I'll put it right in the whisper chat. And John, I'll need your full name and address, and I'll send it out. I don't know if I've ever sent you something. I may have. I'll take a look through the system. But a lot of people move occasionally, So, yep, Kern, you're good. I got you. So, Jeff, thanks for coming on out, and thanks for a great discussion
Absolutely.
tonight. This was
Oh,
fun.
thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
All because of I named a stupid axe Choppy, and I named another one Stubby Slayer on Saturday. Short swords, yes. That's how this discussion came out. So, all right, we'll see you all. Oh, look at that. We went 15 minutes late there. I'll see you all. See you all Wednesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday again next week.
All right.
Hitting the wrong button. See ya. Let's see if we can get Gaby in there. That would be awesome. I'll throw her well over 100. That's close. All right, that'll put her to 100. And a lot of people probably went over there already. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you. We'll see you Wednesday night. Raid!